Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. It is good to be back. It's been, I think, 4 days since the last recording, and that was just because I was going away for a short while to a location where I would not be able to record, which is pretty much anywhere that's not home, because I don't really have a portable setup, as most of you could appreciate who know what goes into going live anyway. Out of pure habit, because it's been 4 days, I went to YouTube to check to see if I was live. Of course, I do not stream to YouTube anymore. In fact, that's a good segue into a short explanation for the benefit of those who wouldn't be aware as to why I have not uploaded Doomlink's Live Hunts 81 to YouTube. It was not my choice to not have uploaded it in the 4 days since I actually recorded it live. In fact, it was YouTube that was the issue here. I tried to upload it just before I left, and I was unsuccessful in doing this. Hey N10, and hello Takashi. I was unsuccessful in uploading this for reasons beyond my reckoning, and the reason why is because it didn't say that it failed to upload. It said that processing was abandoned. Now processing is not uploading. Processing is done on YouTube side, which means that YouTube arbitrarily decided to not process the videos, so that's why it still hasn't been uploaded, and for reasons that I won't get into because they are lengthy and not of too much interest to you, I was not able to upload to YouTube from my other remote location. So, to give a very short explanation as to why, the stream was cut into two, because there was a disconnect during the live stream, and then in order to get one whole video I would have to do what's called concatenate the video, which is basically stitching them together without needing to render the video. It's done losslessly, and that needs to be done with a specific setup that does not exist on my laptop at this time, which I was taking remotely. Anyway, as I said, it wasn't very interesting, and that is the summarized version. So there you go. I've already got 7 people watching. That's a shock. Hey everyone. I'm assuming N10 is going to be joining me, but you've got a crown by your monster hunter name? What? Okay, thanks for letting us know, Juvenator. I don't know what I would have done without that knowledge. Yeah, that's right. I'm wearing a Philosophum shirt. It's not the same coloration like the brown and white from the album cover, but it is black and white, and it does have like the full album cover on the front, and there's also a lot going on the back of the shirt as well. It's my newest Bilsum shirt. I have like 6, one of which I think I'm going to, how do I say, retire, because I've had that shirt for about 8 years now. At least it's not something you can get anymore, but I mean, it's like a super zoomed in shirt of the super zoomed in the sense that it covers the whole shirt and it zooms into the art of Vislisetaros, and it's actually a really nice shirt, but it's fucking old now. You know when you've had a shirt for almost 10 years and it just starts to look a bit ratty? Yeah, I have to not continue wearing that. But anyway, not to distract from the task at hand, which is getting into a room, and I have my wine. You can tell I'm in good form because I took a break. That's not to say I'm usually in bad form. I'm just in especially good form. For how long, I couldn't say. Why is it so? I feel like I'm getting a lot of outside noises like birds and the wind blowing. It feels as if I have a window open, but I don't. Whatever. Just in case you wanted to know, yes, Devil is currently sitting in a room by himself. If he were not here, sitting in a room by himself, there would be cause for concern, because he does this every day, and I think he has a lot of fun playing 3 Ultimate, you know, I mean, that is essentially the ideal experience. Sit in a room by yourself and not play the game, and rack up your playtime. I mean, why would you play any other way, is the question. Why would you play any other way? I don't have anything against him personally, but he seems to be wasting his time. Yeah, it wouldn't be 3U without him, says N10. So this has not... Oh yes, also, I do have some intermittent hammering in the background. I do mean intermittent. It's not going to be. It's like once every 10 minutes or something like that. That's the frequency that I've gathered from. It's Bob. We all know about Bob. For those who don't know Bob, you will know him soon. You will hear him. You will hear him before you hear of him. But yes, he will be hammering on occasion. He's not hammering too often, but when he does, you'll know, I think. But anyway. N10, are you going to be hunting today? Oh, you are. You said you are. Okay. Now, this list of rooms here is about 15 to 20 minutes out of date, so I'm going to have to go and refresh that. Oh, we have more people online now than when I came on before. Now, connected players does refresh. However, the list of rooms when you load them up does not refresh in real time. So, let's check out what we've... Oh, well, I was not necessarily expecting that to disappear. But it seems that we do have a need for a new room, which I will... don't be patting me on the back today, because I did not remember to get my keyboard and put it on my lap, which is about what people should come to expect. Hey Vernon, and hey Exio. We're all together. The gang's all here. Well, not everyone, but you know, lots of you are here. Well, enjoy watching. I do have Exio with me, and again, not Exio. He is in the chat, but I do have N10 with me, who's going to be hunting. And I appreciate that greatly for the reason that it takes a load off my shoulders. I know that no matter what, no matter how terribly things go in terms of getting other people, at least I'll have N10, so, you know, it's peace of mind. That's not how we sit in the chair, Doomlink. I hear that when you sit in the chair, Doomlink, you sit on the actual flat part of the chair, not on the arm of the chair. Oh my goodness. Well, that's caused my boom stand to be crooked. That's done all sorts of things, actually. Me choosing to sit on the arm of the chair instead of in the chair. But let's just, before I fix that, let's actually get a room together, so that we're not wasting too much time. I was going to say that you could probably hear me blowing the dust off my keyboard. What are we calling it? We're going to go HR... You know what, we will. We will go HR8 Plus, because people don't follow that anyway. People who are of a lower hunter rank join regardless, so I'm not really locking anyone out of this room by saying that. Maybe I'll be locking the sensible people out, but that's about it. Okay. Well, not necessarily the important people, Takashi. There are plenty of important people who are not here at this time. We've got Marths, we've got Jenny, we've got Beta, we've got a lot of people. Ethan. Don't have Ethan. We never have Ethan. Remember that guy? I don't. It's been so long. It was kinda a joke. I know it's kind of a joke. I'm addressing your joke. I don't actually think you think that all the important people are here and everyone else is irrelevant. I don't think you are some kind of self-absorbed individual or something like that. I don't know who Ethan is. He's some guy. Some guy that I have mentioned on a number of occasions, I think. He's a bit of an ethereal person, in the sense that I mention him, but I suppose you could say he's transient. Sometimes here, sometimes not. Okay, am I happy with boom stand? No. Bit more of that. There we go, that's a little less crooked now. I'm sure you can hear that, but I do have a compressor going, so you won't be ear raped. It might not be comfortable to the ears, but you won't be, you know, bleeding from your eardrums. In terms of what we will be doing today, because it may be necessary to say this, anything. This is the live version of Doomlink's Random Hunts, which means we will be hunting whatever. What's Doomlink's Random Hunts? Well, you wouldn't know, would you, unless you watched me on YouTube, which no one does. Possibly for good reason. But, yeah, I last did some Freedom and Freedom Unite. This is, of course, referring to the previous Doomlink's Live Hunts recording, just to keep you up to speed on what's going on in my head. The situation there was that Freedom was largely unsuccessful. I was pretty much set up to hunt with a group of people that never arrived. One of them decided to AFK in the hall, and the other was stuck doing something else, and was therefore unable to hunt with me at that time. Now, of course, that was an issue because I was live. Wouldn't be an issue if I was just recording for YouTube or something, and it was going to be uploaded at a later date. That was not what was happening. I was sitting there live, awkwardly, trying to, do things to even entertain myself, much less my audience. And eventually I decided to jump onto Freedom Unite with Beta, and we played in Freedom Unite for like 4 hours or something like that. 3.5. So that was alright, but obviously I wasn't really happy with the lighting situation the entire time. It was bothering me the entire time, and looking back on it, yes, it is annoying. So, as I said, or as I hinted at the very least, I'm not going to be recording live in those games very often. The only time I will do it is when I'm so desperate to do it, I'm willing to ignore the lighting conditions and all the other issues associated with setting up a PC recording. Keeping in mind this is not PC, this is on a console. A bit of a different setup for me on PC versus recording a console, so yeah, that's that situation. It's not always going to be that way. I will be able to record PC more comfortably in the future, but it's going to require drastic changes to my setup, which will indeed happen soon, just not immediately. So yeah, that's the situation there. And again, that will be uploaded this afternoon, which for you is going to be deep into the evening and early morning, no doubt, if you are in the Northern Hemisphere. That's not to say that same time zone no matter where you are in the Northern Hemisphere. It's just most people who watch me are in, that part of the world where it's currently late at night in the Northern Hemisphere. Probably shouldn't have even mentioned the Northern Hemisphere, because that does not relate to time, to my understanding. But, yeah. Sorry, I haven't been reading the chat, I've been monologuing. What is it? Oh, you have a capture card arriving tomorrow. You said, I have a capture arriving tomorrow. I'm thinking, what's a capture? Am I being out of the loop again? I don't know what a capture is. Because you have to understand that a lot of the time I see things that I should know, and I actually don't know what the fuck they are. Not that I pretend to know what they are, I gloss over and I'm like, okay, whatever that is. Oh yeah, you keep my YouTube on when you're at work. Well, that's good to hear. Thank you, Takashi. Well, I'm glad you at least have Generations Ultimate, Yamatori-san. Oh, yeah, XEO, I was just talking about it before. I was away. If you were on my Discord, which you are, so I don't know why you don't know this, I was away for 4 days. It was going to be 3, ended up being 4, But yeah, that's why I wasn't streaming. So, what am I drinking? This is port wine, fortified wine, for real men. It depends on the port though, a lot of them are like dessert wines. I prefer the dry ports, the ones that are just kind of like a strong Cabernet Sauvignon or something like that. You know what I mean. Some are sweet, some aren't. That's the point. Alright, all caught up with the chat. Let's see what we're going to do. It looks like we are going to start off with a 2-man. So, as far as what that's going to be, it doesn't have to be something weak to fire. I'm not desperate to use the Anima Reaper in every recording that I do, although I am partially obsessed with it. The irony being that partially does not work in conjunction with the word obsessed, because obsessed is an extreme term, and partially is the reverse of an extreme. Anyway, so thankfully we are not under any obligation to do Ivory Laggy in this recording. In fact, as I said before, if we don't do Ivory Laggy, it means one of two things. Either Vernon is not here, or he finally has all his heart horns. Needless to say, it is the former. So, yeah. Hey, you're in the right place, Yamatori-san. For those watching the VOD, he says, Rise is dry as hell. Going back to Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. You're in the right place, my friend. There is a reason why I am playing 3 Ultimate. It's because it makes Rise look like a bad joke by comparison. It is, by a significant margin, better, and it is, in my opinion, the best Monster Hunter game. It is not flawless, or without flaw in any respect. It is flawed, as any Monster Hunter game is, to be completely honest. There will always be something that detracts from the experience in every expression of the Monster Hunter formula. But they pretty much got it right in 3 Ultimate. This was it. This was the peak of 3rd gen, which, for me, was the peak of the traditional expression of Monster Hunter. All the little rough parts were ironed out, and they didn't go too far. It was basically, I mean, I don't really want to go into this. Let's not, because that's a long conversation. I don't know what I want to do. Let's check these quests. I think it's getting really dark, isn't it? It's raining outside and it's quite windy. Not the nicest weather, but you know what? This lighting's fine, and I'll tell you why. It's still a damn sight better than it was last recording. So I'll stick with this. I'll live with this. Let's do 3 Gobel. I know it's not very exciting, but let's do 3 Gobel. Because while we're in 3 Ultimate, we may as well hunt a monster that is unique to the game, as opposed to some monster that has appeared in every single game for the last 5 generations of Monster Hunter, which everyone seems to be happy with. Yeah, I'll hunt the same monster for 5 generations, please. Please, Capcom, do that for me. You know, you don't even have to complain to Capcom. They are asked to do it, in fact, by the audience, or by the fans. Anyway, what am I doing? Should I... Okay, guys. No, I'm not going to have you guys vote for me, because I can never make that fair. I have to either spin a roulette, or... I mean, if I put a straw poll on, that would work, but that's too much effort. Sorry I'm so lazy, I'll make a decision myself as to what weapon to use. I will use... Just to be fair, I'll use something that I'm not comfortable with. How about Switch Axe? Yeah, Switch Axe. So, I'm not uncomfortable with Switch Axe, but I don't like it. So, that's close enough. I suppose... No, that doesn't feel necessary, because that has Rocksteady. Let's use... What's a fun set? Do I have a fun set? Something that's... I guess Gold Raytheon is the closest to that, isn't it? Because I don't need anything in the game anymore, so... No, let's just stick with this, that's fine. So, Switch Axe. We want Thunder, which is the Nether Excellion, which is one of my least favourite nether laggy, or rather, abyssal laggy designs in the game. You know, I'm so pleased to see that I'm so out of date with Rise. I stopped playing it about a week to a week and a half after it came out, so I know nothing of what the updates have given to it because I've shut myself off from it. So when I see Vernon talking about I'm almost at the end of Rise and he's talking about stuff that I didn't even know was in the game, I'm so happy to see that, you know, I'm so glad I'm out of the loop. Because much of what I do with either Rise or World is rather than talk about it, I try to run away from it, I try to distance myself as much as possible. I am prompted to discuss it by my audience, but I do not volunteer to engage in the subject, because I find it to be asinine. But that's alright. That's the way things are sometimes. Now, keeping in mind we are in 3 Ultimate, so we could always have people join while we're on a quest, so... Is Rise really that boring? It's not a matter of being boring. It's a matter of it being bad, actually. Which people will get severely indignant over. It's like, Rise is not bad. You've got different tastes. Which is admittedly true. But, I don't know. I don't even want to get into that subject right now. I actually unlisted all of my Rise videos except my reaction to the announcement of Monster Hunter Rise. And the reason why was because when you searched my channel on YouTube, apparently my Rise videos were the top results, and it made me so sick to know that I was being represented by my Rise content, first and foremost on YouTube, that I decided that people weren't going to watch it. I'm not so worried that people would watch it that I would make it private, but I unlisted it. You know, like I don't want people to find that first and foremost when they search my channel. It's actually revolting. So yeah, and I certainly didn't ask to be so to be made so sick to the stomach at the mere mention of the game or at the mere thought of the game, but that's the way things evolved for me emotionally. I'm just glad that it happened faster than it did with World, because as I've described my World experience, it was a little bit like a year and a half of emotional rape, whereas in this case it was about, we'll say, just mild emotional abuse for the period of about a week. So it's over now, and I'm better off for it. At least I know that it's bad. I don't have to take someone else's word for it. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Autonomic actually got a Wii U, so he's going to be able to play this game. Free Ultimate. Which is probably the, well yeah, it would be, realistically, the best game on the Wii U, which of course some people would beg to differ on. I mean, people who've never played the game probably don't agree. They're like, how could you possibly say that? Well, look, if Monster Hunter is pretty much one of the best game series of all time, and this is the best in that series, I would say that yes, by default, this would be the best game on the console. There are some, oh, don't do that. Of course, I didn't intend to carve that. I was pressing X, A, and R to go into a sword mode / from unsheathing, or from an from a sheathed state, not unsheathed state. You don't unsheathe when you're unsheathed. Anyway, let's not talk about that. It was a slip of the tongue, Doomlink, don't dwell on it. It becomes all the more obvious that way. What's my opinion of the new Switch Pro? I don't have an opinion for the reason that I know nothing about it. Is it necessary for the Switch to have a Pro version? Yes, absolutely. It was kind of not that great, specs-wise, when it released 4 years ago. So, yes, I would say that it does need a Pro version. Because 4 years of tech evolution is not something to snort at, or sneeze at, or scoff at, whatever they say. Point being that, yes, the Switch sucks in terms of its internal hardware. It's kind of good in concept, I guess. At the end of the day, it's an improvement on the 3DS as a handheld portable system. You have to, that's the problem, really. You can't look at it as a stationary console. If you look at it as a stationary console, it's over. You're going to always have the Switch be at the very bottom of any comparison list. You have to look at it as a handheld console, and that's what I've had to tell myself, you know. I've had to actually convince myself, no, this is not a stationary console. You may use it as a stationary console, Doomlink, but it does not actually work to compare it to actual stationary systems, because you can't pick up your PlayStation 4, your PS4 Pro, whatever the hell. You can't just take that with you on the bus, or down to the shop, or whatever. You can't do that, so it's not fair to compare it. Of course, it is not going to be as good in terms of its hardware when it can be so portable. But yes, I do think a Switch Pro is necessary. As far as whether it's well priced or if the specs are appropriate, I don't know, because I haven't looked into it at all. I was actually expecting Monster Hunter Rise to be released alongside the Switch Pro, because I expected, given that Rise was going to have 5th gen, or at the very least graphics along the same lines as World, I expected that they were definitely going to release it alongside the Switch Pro for the reason that the standard Nintendo Switch would not be able to run it properly. I would argue that that's absolutely true. I would say it runs very well, but there is a fundamental issue there. It's at 30 FPS. Now, 30 FPS gaming in the year of 2021 is such a sad joke that really you could only justify it with portable gaming. So, and even having said that, games like 4 Ultimate, that were released a long time ago, on a system that's worse than the Switch, did not run at 30 FPS. It ran at 45 to 50 from memory. So, yeah, I mean, I wish less people were comfortable and willing to play games at 30 FPS. For a game like Rise particularly, you do feel the 30 FPS limit. I've got no idea if the Switch Pro addresses the things like FPS being stuck at 30. My guess is that that would be a game-related issue. They'd have to release an update to allow for 60 FPS, my guess would be. But, yeah, I don't think people should be okay to play games in 30 FPS, and certainly a game like Rise with so much going on the screen and such smooth animations, it really does hurt to play the game at 30 FPS. It hurts me inside. So, that's of course nothing to do with the reason why I'm not playing it anymore, but that, I suppose, was a mark against it at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm sure it feels weird to play this after playing Monster Hunter 1 and 10. I get a little bit of that every now and again. I often go back and forth between 1st gen and 3rd gen, 4th gen, all of that, which is great. It's sort of, I would say that playing 1st generation Monster Hunter really refreshes you. It allows you to look at even the 3rd and 4th gen Monster Hunter with new eyes and really appreciate it. Whereas things like 5th gen Monster Hunter can actually make it harder to appreciate certain aspects of old Monster Hunter. Such as, you know, the lack of some quality of life aspects that you naturally become reliant on when you play 5th generation Monster Hunter. Like, really reliant on. Like, item sets. Now, I'm that one guy who's such a purist that he doesn't even use item sets in the games that have them. Now, that's not because I'm actually, like, item sets are beneath me. It's not about that. It's that I don't want to become so reliant on them in those games that I can't function in the older games when I go back. And some people don't understand that. But what they need to understand, if anything, is that I do go back and play the old games very frequently. So it's not a minor thing for me to need to be able to function in those games properly. Anyway. Don't know why I'm getting all these carves. Not that I need them, but again, I hoard my Monster Hunter materials. Something that I do. So, here I am. Sometimes I even try to hoard materials that I know I can't hold in my box anymore because I am culling all of my monster materials to single stacks of 99, but can't help myself sometimes. I mean, that's part of the experience of Monster Hunter, isn't it? You kill the monster, then you carve the damn thing. It's no fun if you can't carve. Well, it is still fun, but anyway. N10's doing some acrobatics for your entertainment. And for mine, incidentally, because I'm entertained. Oh, he's gotten some stage fright. Oh no, he's back at it. Encore, encore. Really? I love how you can see the bubbles before you can see the monster. I can't believe I'm using the switch axe, it just feels awful. At least we're on land for most of this, which is very good. Oh, no you don't. Well, yes you do, I guess. Yes you do. I don't know if I carved the second tail. I believe we cut the tail of the second Goebel, but I don't believe I carved it. Oh god. Why do I even bother sheathing? I'm going to be stunned anyway. And when you're stunned, you automatically sheath your weapon. So I really just could have gone in there and done an extra 1 or 2 hits. And then, well, not that I need to be min-maxing my damage here. But you know what I mean. Or maximizing, we could say. My damage. So what is this conversation that you're having with Autonomic? What has he done? Has he bought the physical copy? Which isn't a bad thing. I think... Did he not get a discount that he should have or something? Oh, sorry, It's a long conversation that goes above what I can currently see in the chat, so... Oh, you were having a misunderstanding, alright. Goody. Just trying to keep up, you see. And it definitely relates to the streams and what's going on, because Autonomic will be able to play with us. Although I will say that I'm not really willing to do G rank and high rank on camera, but once you get to G rank, Autonomic, you can play with us and we'll get you up to the end game of G rank and help build up your character. There are a number of people to play within the game, fortunately, still, so you're not going to be totally thrown into the deep end, so to speak, by not having me to help anyway. Vernon might be happy to help, I don't know, but I've helped so many people in my time as a Monster Hunter player to go from low rank to G rank that I actually can't bring myself to do it anymore. And part of the reason why is because well, that's not good. Part of the reason why is because I'm not one of those people who actually enjoys going back and playing from the beginning. For Monster Hunter for me is very much about building your character up and then sticking with that character. So yeah, I don't really like going back and hunting in low rank and high rank. Particularly because I don't like necessarily being super overpowered for those hunts, and I like to use the armor and weapons that I've gathered in the endgame. So that disconnect there leads me to not play low rank and high rank, so yeah. You like picking on monsters. Yes, you do, Vernon. What with your repeated use of the lockdown paralysis mounting set in Generations Ultimate. I seem to recall a Lagombi being destroyed, yes. Something about a Lagombi. Oh, he'll probably absolutely annihilate them Autonomic because he'll likely be using his slime bow set. Now, slime just annihilates everything in the game no matter what, so... Look, in low rank they will be annihilated. I mean, in high rank it's going to be a little more appropriate. It's going to feel a bit more like a hunt. But low rank, just blast through low rank. Honestly, low rank is not really worth it. It's not worth going through slowly. But again, everyone plays the game differently. So... Well, look, Lagombis are... If we're going to compare ice monsters or snowy area monsters, if you have a specific issue with Lagombi, might I draw your attention to Blangonga? That is a shit monster, okay? I don't like Blangonga, never liked Blangonga. I actually have quite an appreciation for Lagombi when I compare him to the likes of Blangonga, so I'd say if I had to beat down a ice location monster, I think it would be Lagombi, because I actually have some pent-up aggression. I've been hunting that monster since 2nd gen, so I've got a bit of aggression to get out against that monster that I very much enjoy getting out. But Lagombi, no, I've got nothing against that monster. I don't mind Lagombi at all. And rabbits are cute. Blangombi, okay. That just put a very strange image of my head, of like a monkey with rabbit ears, and maybe a fatter Blangonga with rabbit ears, you know. That's not to say rabbits are fat. It's to say that Lagombi's kind of, you know, round. And he even rolls around. I mean, what else is there to say? Yeah, I suppose the best thing to do, always, Autonomic, when you're going through a game, a Monster Hunter game for the first time, just getting to G rank, select a weapon type that you're not going to get bored of for the whole of low rank and high rank. You can always, I guess, swap weapons, like you can have 2 weapon types, maybe exactly 2 weapons of different weapon types to take you through low rank and high rank, but it's always easier to stick with one. And I find the solution is obviously to select something that you know you can use a lot of. For example, I could use Greatsword for that length of time without getting bored. I could use Sword and Shield, Longsword, without getting bored. Dual blades I would get bored of. Hammer I'd get bored of. Lance, gun lance, I would get bored of those. Charge blade, pretty much every other weapon type except for the ranged weapons, I would get bored of in that time. The reason why I wouldn't use the ranged weapons is because, or ranged weapons, let's enunciate properly, Doomlink. The reason why I wouldn't use those is because you need a lot of money. Well, you need your money more than ever in the early game, and ammunition's expensive in the early game, so I never recommend gunning. Well, I guess you could use a bow, couldn't you? But maybe coatings are expensive. I would say maybe bow would be your only low to high rank ranged option. Your only sensible low rank to high rank ranged option anyway. I'm surprised we're still sitting here alone in this room. I guess everyone's going to Devil's room, you know, he's such a bundle of fun that he takes all the players. And then they realise, oh, this guy's actually not hunting at all. Shit, wasted my time. I bet people go into his room and depart without him on quests. I think I did that with Vernon, in fact. I seem to recall that. I think we joined his room, and I decided, okay, you never know, he might actually come back if he realises that we're in the room. So we went and departed. Well, no, I don't think it was Devil. I think it was, that definitely happened, but I think it was a different person. I think it might have been Devil, I'm not sure, but anyway. Yeah, some people enjoy Hammer enough to use it that much. I don't. For me, Hammer is such a specific way to hunt the monster that I get bored of it if I use it too much, so yeah, but everyone has their preferences. All I said was that he should select a weapon that he knows he's not going to get bored of in that time. And maybe there is no such weapon for some people, but most people are willing to just use the same weapon. I mean, if you looked at every person's guild card in one Monster Hunter game, like if you line them all up and compared them, the vast majority of them would only have high uses in like 2 or 3 weapon types, which shows that most people don't really need to use all weapon types to remain interested in the game. I do, I feel. The more options, the more fun. But some people don't like to learn all the weapon types. It's more than what's comfortable for them to do, so. How about we do Diablos and Black Diablos? This is the first time I think I've willingly decided to do a Diablos quest on camera. In other words, rather than join someone else's hunt that they need done for them, I'm actually saying, let's do Diablos. Not for anything other than to hunt them, so yeah, that's unusual. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I'm unwell. Mentally unwell. What? N10 says, I played with Devil once, and he tried recruiting me into his Monster Hunter clan. I said no, and then he kicked and blocked me. Now what's involved in, like, what are the activities of his Monster Hunter clan? Do they involve making a room in this game and sitting in it AFK 24/7? If so, then sign me up. That sounds like an absolute fucking ball. I think I'd love that. What's the point of hunting, right? Yeah, well, look, Devil's obviously a dork. Devil the dork. How about that? Devil the dork. How dare you refuse to join his Monster Hunter clan? What an honor to be invited. You should reconsider your priorities in life, N10, because, like, you've basically turned away an opportunity of a lifetime. Let's go Awaken, and I'll go Awaken Ice. In terms of what weapon I will use, let's go Longsword. Here's my Awaken Ice Longsword. It is Tribulation, which is the Durambros Longsword. Pretty much all the Durambros weapons you will very rarely see, either in Portable 3rd or 3 Ultimate, or any game for that matter. They're just not often used, and there's a reason. It's because they generally suck. Except for the hammer. The hammer's pretty good. Well, I'd say that's probably unfair. I don't think they suck. I just think that they're generally not the best in whatever category they are in. Like, raw damage, I suppose, would be the category. But in this case, this is an Awakened weapon also. We do have a game sitting right before us now that is an awakened game. In other words, you do have most of your war weapons having a latent element or status that can be brought out with Awaken, or in the case of 4th Gen, Enlightened Blade as well. So there is more use to a Duramboros weapon in this era, or in this particular Monster Hunter game, among others. More uses beyond just being a raw weapon. Well, his name is Devil, but you never know. He could be younger. He could have played the game when it came out, and he was young enough to find the name Devil to be cool. But he could also be 35. He could also be 35. But yeah, I think he is 35. That's what I guess. He's definitely in his 30s, which is to say that he's probably just a cringeworthy human being. Although, again, I'm not going to sit here and start abusing Devil verbally, because I don't know the guy. But from what I've heard, and from what he does in the game, which is nothing, I'm going to guess that he's probably got at least 1 to 5 screws loose. So, I mean, a lot of the Huntering 999s that you will come across in this era of Monster Hunter do have a screw loose. That's not to say that all of them do, but a lot of them do. Like, they're emotionally unstable, deeply impatient, deeply intolerant, and deeply just troubled. So, yeah, I don't know what that is. It seems that if you play a lot of Monster Hunter in this era of Monster Hunter, something's probably wrong. I mean, well, not probably. Something can be wrong and often is wrong, but I don't know. That's all I can tell you from my experience with hunting these people. A lot of them are just really quite fucked. So, yeah, Devil he's not really an outlier in that community of Huntering 999s. He's kind of what you'd expect. In fact, he might be among the better Huntering 999s that you can come across. I forgot fucking Sonic Bombs. I literally was making a mental note to bring them this time, and I still managed to forget. Usually I don't even think to bring them. This time I made a mental note of it, and I still didn't do it. What's that to say of my mental stability? I don't know. Well, no, that doesn't mean anything. I'm obviously distracted because I'm hosting a live stream. But yeah, that was annoying to see that I had an opportunity to throw that and didn't have any Sonic Bombs. I'll hit the tail tip here for good elemental damage. The tail tip is, I suppose, the tail case. What you would carve as the tail case is what's called a tail tip for hit zones. I don't know if that's an official term or a fan translation or whatever the fuck it is, but when I say the tail tip, I also mean the tail case, and yeah, ow. You've never seen me use this weapon before? I think I've used it once on camera prior to this point. And I think twice since I made it. Not including this time. This would be the 3rd time I think I've used this weapon. So, yeah, I just don't really have a need to use Awaken Ice Longsword, I guess. That's really what it comes down to. Not sure why. Just haven't happened to do that, but today's the day. It always happens eventually. And again, today is that day. Now, I don't like Diablos at all. Did I actually knock him down with that attack? That's hilarious. That's actually hilarious. Because I still took the hit from that, but I did flinch him successfully. So he basically hit me and immediately fell over. It's very entertaining. I'm not going to get a full combo out here. Shit. The most annoying thing with Longsword is when you can't get a full combo out and you can't level up your weapon. That's very frustrating. I think, is that my boomstand? No, it's not. It's actually part of my green screen on camera, which needs to be removed right now. None of you will have noticed it until now. Would have noticed it, I guess. But, I noticed it, and it bothers me. So I'm gonna have to fix that. I know what the solution is anyway. I'm being hit by Diablos because... Also, N10, it is always better to dung the one that has been in the area for the longest, because you can see, before I could even finish what I was saying, the first Diablos left on his own. Now, the risk here is that Black Diablos will rotate into the area that we just went to. It's very normal for the monster that was first in the area to leave on his own when another monster invades. So, what I usually do is I dung bomb the one that's been in the area the longest. Which is not what most people do, but I find that it is usually the best course of action. Ugh, okay. So let me quickly fix that green screen. Look at that. It's like magic. Now there's no longer a little black thing in the corner of the screen that you probably never noticed. It really is that simple. It's a quick fix. That does incidentally require me to be away from the game for a moment. Sorry for flinching you. I'm using a lot. Oh, that's so funny. I was going to leave the horns to you, and then we both went to the same place instead. You were leaving the horns to me, and I was leaving the horns to you, which resulted in both of us attacking the stomach, or the chest, whatever you call that. I intended to dive that attack, but apparently I was just a little late. Task failed successfully. It's not just the 999s are spiteful of those still working to rank up. They're spiteful of any person who... I don't even want to explain their frame of mind, because sometimes, you know, when you explain a frame of mind, the way in which you explain it is to legitimize or justify the action. There is no real justification other than they become frustrated by whatever a player does that just happens to bother them. You know, they have very weird little quirky things that bother them, and they get angry at those people who, I guess, trigger their tick, if you understand what I say. Like, they have, this is what I mean by them being emotionally unstable and strange and just generally unpleasant. They have these little ticks that are triggered by a fairly innocent behavior, and they go nuts. They either aggressively block you or just the whole thing. They're very strange people, and you will only understand what I'm saying when you experience it yourself. The example that I always give is, because I got it on camera, I mean, so much has happened off camera in my experience with Hunter Rank 999s. Most of it has been off camera, to be honest. But one that I did catch on camera, and this is why I refer to it. What happened was, there was a Hunter Rank 999 who at no time was physically kicked, as in kick animation. At no time was this person physically kicked in-game, okay? We hadn't even gone on a hunt with this person yet. And this person said, if you kick me in-game, I'll kick you from the room. And I found that to be so funny that the first thing I did when I got into the quest was I physically kicked this person. And naturally, I was kicked after the end of the quest. Now, that was hilarious. To actually take personal offense to being kicked in-game, or to take issue with it in any way, is a window into how mentally and emotionally disturbed this person is. Like, actually a basket case, mentally speaking. Like, just off the charts, stupid, crazy, nuts. Now, that is fairly normal for these people. That's what I mean when I say that they are emotionally unstable. So, yeah. I mean, if you didn't say anything... This is the fun... Oh, that's my phone going off, sorry. I'll have to respond to this text momentarily, but, yeah, that's the thing. Had this person never mentioned it, the chances that they were going to be physically kicked in-game would have been less so. But had this person not mentioned it, they would have been so incensed that they were kicked in-game, that they were going to physically kick the person from the room anyway, even if they hadn't been warned. Like, that's crazy. Like, if you really sit down and think about it, that's crazy and strange and actually somewhat worrisome that a person would have that kind of instability within themselves that they couldn't even allow for a person to physically kick them in-game as a joke. It would never be done seriously, obviously. It's always sort of like a joking, ha-ha sort of thing. But this person is so serious that they probably self-insert into the game. Like, you kicking their character in-game is like kicking them, and that's disrespectful. Anyway, that's the sort of shit I'm talking about. They've really got problems. I'm just going to respond to this text real quickly. Okay, let's go and help out with this. Black Diablos. You watched a 3-hour-long video about why Monster Hunter DOS is the last true Monster Hunter. There's definitely an argument for that. There is absolutely an argument for that. My point of view is that 3rd generation was still Monster Hunter. It was mostly focused on fixing what was rough around the edges with old Monster Hunter. It wasn't until 4th generation that they departed from traditional Monster Hunter and actually started trying to come up with new things. You could technically argue that underwater combat was such a new innovation that they had departed from traditional Monster Hunter purely on that basis, but I would say that that can be ignored. Fundamentally, 3rd gen is still 1st gen, fundamentally. But I think fundamentally, or rather the fundamentals just changed a little too much by 4th gen, and then by 5th gen it wasn't even Monster Hunter anymore, you know, that's the idea. So, but I understand that DOS could be considered the last. I mean, DOS was really the last. It was very interesting to see the innovations of DOS not actually be carried over into the portable games that followed. It was really interesting, and that's why it's such a shame that DOS never came out in English. I think that really is the greatest travesty, that Monster Hunter 2 never came to the West. Had it come to the West, it probably wouldn't have been all that celebrated. I would very much doubt that it would have been. It would have fallen into obscurity much like the original had. But to not only not bring Monster Hunter G to the West, but also, well, no, they never did. They brought it to the Wii, but that wasn't for the West either. But to not only not bring Monster Hunter G, but also not bring DOS, I mean, that is horrid. It is actually horrid. Obviously, for the people of the time, it was bothersome because, you know, you had crazy new monsters like Shen Gaoden, a giant crab living in Lao Shenlong's head. Pretty significant. And people were very upset to find out that it wasn't coming in English. But beyond that, you had a lot of interesting innovations in the series at that time. Some of those innovations were never brought back into the series, and I think it's a real shame that so many people haven't experienced that, myself included. I haven't personally experienced Monster Hunter 2 DOS. I plan to, but I don't know. I wanted to start with 1st gen, you see. I only first got into 1st gen 3 years ago, so I'm still working on that. God, you came from far away, did you see that? But yeah, still working on 1st gen. I won't begin work on DOS until I have got a really well-built character on both Freedom 1 and Monster Hunter G. I don't care about Monster Hunter 1. Monster Hunter 1 can eat a bag of dicks. But, I mean, I will play it for fun occasionally, but for the most part, no. It's just Monster Hunter G and Monster Hunter Freedom. And by extension, Monster Hunter Portable, because once I get a fully built character in Monster Hunter Freedom, I will transfer my save over to Monster Hunter Portable, which is the Japanese version of Monster Hunter Freedom. The difference between the two being that there is additional DLC content for Monster Hunter Portable, but more importantly, there is almost no input delay or input detection issue present, while the Monster Hunter Freedom Western release is absolutely plagued by input lag, at least emulating. I don't know if it was present on the PSP, I was told that it was a controller-based issue. It was fundamentally an issue, or primarily an issue, well no, we'll say fundamentally an issue with the game, but you can only experience the issue if you're using a controller. In other words, if you're not playing on the PSP, you will experience the terrible input delay. So, but it's not input delay or input lag, because that suggests that it catches up. It doesn't catch up. It actually doesn't register your button press. That's what it is. So it's actually input detection. It's bad input detection. So, for the sake of being accurate, it's not input delay. It's never delayed. It just doesn't register. Well, I'm sorry that the feed is choppy for you, but I'm glad that you did get to hear me say bag of dicks. And that was the important part of that discussion. No, it wasn't. That was the least important part. But anyway, no, I say that Monster Hunter 1 can eat a bag of dicks because why would I play it? Like, there's literally zero reason for me to play that game. It's like playing Monster Hunter 4 instead of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Like, why would you do that? And I also would say, why would you play Generations but not Double Cross or Generations Ultimate? Hey, that was a Gold Crown Small Diablos, Black Diablos. That's one of my... That's probably now 9 or 8 crowns left or something like that. Not that I'm trying to get them all, but yeah. No, I don't see a reason to play Monster Hunter 1. Unless people play it but don't play G. But G has an English translation, I think. I'm pretty sure. Not like a full English translation, but about the same as whatever DOS has. It's like a partial English translation, but I do believe that it's a better quality translation than the DOS translation. That's the big issue with Monster Hunter DOS. It does have a partial English translation, but it's not partially well done. It's fully terribly done, but it's partially translated. So, yeah. I'm glad Drake stuck around. I think he's a high level. I think he's hunter rank 800 or something. 770, I think that was. It's on my gamepad far away, but yeah. That's why he stuck around. I think you've played with him, Enten. I think we... Yeah, I think we definitely played with him before. You and me. But, yeah. As far as what we're going to do now... The problem here is that none of us need anything, so we just need to find a quest that might be fun to do. And I will go searching for that. As far as... No, I don't really want to do 2 Kurapeko, that's going to be too quick. Like Crimson and Regular. Don't think I would want to do that. How about... And I don't want to do another Diablos, no, let's not do that. We could do Giant Rusted Rambros, how about that? Yeah, what is it? It's like something to do with axe. There's axe in the name, I believe. Unless it's an event quest, it might be an event quest. It's like axe to grind or something. Where is it? It's an event. Well, apparently I'm blind because I can't see it. Clashing Fist, the mountain in the desert, that's what it is. Axe to grind must be the regular one. So the mountain in the desert. Giant Rust Duram. I don't think I've done this quest on camera in a very long time. It gives the tickets that allow you to make Bushido, which is the Awaken Slime dual blades that I sometimes use. I was using them quite frequently before, but haven't used them in a little while. These ones here. I will gun for this. Probably just heavy pierce, I guess. Again, don't have a light pierce set, so I've only got one choice if I want a pierce gun. You know what? No, I'm going to go bow as well. That's actually more fun. We'll go ice pierce bow. As far as what my ice pierce bow is, I've got no frickin' idea. Literally no frickin' idea. I could possibly be using an Arco Tri-W here. Well, it's not looking too good. Maybe we've got another option. Amber? No, I don't think it's you, is it? No, it's not you. What else could it possibly be? It might actually be the Arco Tri-W. It's looking like it is, yes. So that's non-load up. Pierce level 3 on the 3rd charge, only 228. Ugh, God, that's fucking balls, but whatever. This would be an example of a not great option. But it's the best you can. That's actually the best you can do in this game for Pierce Ice. That's just how it is with bow sometimes. In 3rd gen, I would say bow really is not well accounted for. It's especially bad in Portable 3rd. In this game, it's a little better, but in Portable 3rd, my god. Alright, mountain in the desert. The mountain in the desert, sorry. Need to get the name right, I'm such a fool. Okay. So, let's just do this. Get Lucky Cat, how about that? I'm feeling lucky today. I need to check something. Does it still exist? Let's find out. It does! The I'm feeling lucky option still exists for Google. I actually didn't know. And they've always called it that too. I'm feeling lucky. Do any of you ever use that? I remember, I think the first time I tried it was... God, I think it was 2004 when I first tried it. And I was like, what does that even mean? I'm feeling lucky. What does that even mean? Why would it say that? And then I pressed it and I was like, okay, great. But, yeah, it's always been called that, I think. But, yeah. That was on an XP machine. And it was, to me, very strange naming, but it still exists. I realised that I hadn't looked at it in so long, and I thought maybe they got rid of it, but no, it's still there. You used it once. Of course, for those who don't know what it is, it basically automatically takes you to the first page that would be listed if you searched regularly. And I think I've used it maybe 3 times in my life. All 3 times were out of curiosity. To be honest, I think it would have been better in the past, because the first option in the past was usually better. But Google's changed a little bit. Now, I think sometimes your first option can be something that's paid to reach that. Well, maybe not paid, but sort of it's promoted not necessarily as the most accurate search result, but rather for some other reason, and it might not necessarily be what you want, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I would never use it today. Remember when Google Images search was actually nicely designed? It's been really messy for a long time, but I think about a year or 2 ago they changed it to make it so that when you open an image in Google Images, it actually changes, it rearranges the position of all of the other images so that it goes around the pop-up. It's so bad. I mean, who can be so clueless with website design to do that? And yet this is Google. Fucking Google. I mean, I shouldn't be too surprised because Google owns YouTube, and the things that YouTube does on a web design level are sometimes staggeringly retarded, okay? But that's not an improvement. Like, to make it harder for me to... Like, it used to be the case that you just click the frickin' image and then you'd still be able to find your place relative to the image you previously clicked. But now you click the image that you want to have expanded, and you might have had another image in mind, but now you don't know where the fuck that image went because everything rearranged when you opened that first image to make it larger. I mean, that's stupid website design. Like, that is not for making it easier for human beings to use Google. It's almost like, you know what I think Google is? I think it's one giant AI that's experimenting on us. That's what I fucking think it is. Not legitimately, but that's what it feels like. For any person who's had to deal with Google, you will know that speaking to a human being is the hardest thing to do with Google. It's almost all automated. There's no human connection there. It's incredible how dead your interaction with Google can be. And if you do interact with a human being, they are nothing more than an approved representative of Google who will be about as helpful as talking to a plank of wood, okay? These people have about the personality characteristics of mixed concrete and will be about as helpful, as I said, talking to a plank of wood. So that's your human interaction, and then past that point, what happens is, like, let's say for example, you don't have access to your Google account anymore, and you really need to get that back. You are absolutely, and you know it to be true, the owner of that Google account. You will not be able to speak to a person about that. You will have to wait for an algorithm to determine that you are the owner of that account. And if they can't show that you are the owner of that account, you will never be able to access that. Ever. If you have your... This is what's crazy. If you have your request to gain access to this account that you can't access for whatever reason, elevated, or did they say elevated or escalated? I think elevated. Maybe escalated. But the point is, they take it to a higher level, where if, with the algorithm, they cannot prove that it is you, you will be permanently locked out of that account. No person. You will never deal with a human being at this point. Like, it's incredible. But, anyway. That's Google. And that's why I think that it's all, like, when they make really stupid web design decisions, the only conclusion that I can come to is that it's not actual human beings sitting down going, let's do this. Because no human being would actually think that's good web design. But, yeah. What is going on, Sandra? Normally I wouldn't ask, but you're taking a long-ass fucking time. I've been sitting here ranting for the last 10 minutes. And you're still not ready to go. You will be departed without. I will depart without you. How about that? It's a little better. I'll give him 60 seconds. No, I'll give him 2 minutes. I'll be nice. It's 3 ultimate. Sec. Like, I'm happy to wait 5 minutes, but this is going a bit far. At least he's responding. If he's responding, then I'm kind of forced to wait for him for as long as he takes. That's right, Autonomic. You very well could be. I don't know. Anyone who's had to deal with Google will know. It's not normal. There's nothing normal about Google. And, if they were normal, they wouldn't be doing all the weird shit that they're doing with YouTube. The YouTube arm of Google is almost like an experiment in how much can they get away with fucking it up before people go, hey, this is not okay anymore. I think that's what it is. It's a big experiment in how much they can fuck with people and still get away with it. I sort of drew the line eventually, didn't I? Because I don't stream to YouTube anymore, but I still upload to YouTube, and I don't stream to YouTube because they've never done anything for my sake. They've never made anything. They've never had a system in place that made it easier for me to deliver content to people or to... All they've done was have a system that worked, and then, over a period of 10 to 13 years, completely and utterly destroy it. In every single regard. That's what they've done. That's what I've witnessed. So, how can I support that? Yes, there's a sense of loyalty there because I've been with them for so long, but... Sandra, you dick! Come on! I mean, what am I to say to this? We sit here waiting for you for 10 minutes, you respond to me with sec to suggest that it's worth investing my life into waiting for you, and then you leave anyway. Like, what the fuck? What's wrong with these people? Is it me? Like, is it just me, or is that actually a terrible waste of my time? I don't care if he disconnected. I'm not waiting for him to come back, because he might never come back. That's the point. I'm not waiting for him. I'm sorry to hear that, Autonomic. You know what I don't understand? I mean, I've never really understood modern meme culture. There was a time when meme culture was actually funny because it wasn't the whole internet, but now it's the whole internet. And I don't find any of that funny. But one thing that I don't understand is the I guess you'd call it a meme, where they post the twerking Among Us character, like that bean thing that shakes its ass in your face. What's funny about that? Can someone tell me what's funny about that? Like, does that in any way relate to the game, or is it just the fucking Among Us thing twerking? Like, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It's not funny, but it's widespread enough for me to wonder what it's all about. Like, am I missing the point? Or is it really the fact that memes have become so unfunny that that's considered funny or worth posting? I don't get it. Oh. Yeah, well, I've heard that, but I don't really understand it. It's just... Anyway. Meme culture to me just doesn't... I mean, it's only served to ruin the internet, really. Even more than it already had been ruined just by bringing so many people into the fold. Remember the time when the internet was actually a community of people? Now it's just, you know... Everyone's on the internet, so it's literally the same as real life. You used to have real life and then you had the internet, but now it's kind of just real life, but online. Which is to say that it's not a community of people, it's not a specific environment, it's just, yeah, it's just normal, everyday existence. But maybe with more ease to, or an easier pathway to an enclosed community versus real life. So, yeah. That's the way I've seen the change of the internet in recent years. Sorry if I really poorly timed that paralysis. I see that no one's really here to make use of it. I didn't realise that everyone was so far from the monster. But I don't think I can get a second one there. No, definitely not getting a second one. Oh, I rolled just too late there. Hey, Beta. The stream has been going for 1 hour and 12 minutes. Hunts have been going reasonably. Sorry to hear. Oh, Sandrew is back. Hi. See, I wasn't going to wait that fucking long for you to get back. Because I would have no way of knowing whether or not... I mean, you never know. Sandrew might think that I kicked them, but hopefully Sandrew did actually have a legitimate internet problem, which needed to be resolved prior to them returning, and they know that I didn't kick them. But I certainly wasn't going to wait for a person who might never come back, and certainly I would not have waited for the 3 minutes that it took for this person to return. Sorry to be late was at call phone. What does call phone mean? As in you were expecting a call? Like you're at a phone where you frequently receive calls? Are you at a call center? I don't know. But call phone was in a call maybe, well, I don't know. The way I read was at call phone would suggest that this person had to answer a phone that often rings. Which means you're either working... no, I'm not going to go into that. I was going to say, it must be working as a receptionist at a hotel. No. Point is that I really was not going to wait for that person. Had they disconnected, I would have assumed that they would have been able to join again in less than 3 minutes, so I would have just departed anyway. So it's better that I departed when I did, because now we can be 3 minutes into the quest, rather than having just departed after waiting an additional 3 minutes for this person to return, if you understand. So, that's the situation. I don't feel too good about this bow, to be honest. I know I'm not doing amazing damage right now. But yeah, I won't pursue the discussion about how the internet has changed, because it's very depressing and I have very little positive to say. I have very little positive things to say about the way the internet has changed. It's basically died. I mean, the internet is dead. So, yeah, it's better not to talk about it, really. Otherwise, I'll get all depressed. Oh, God. But yeah, there's a few people playing Free Ultimate at the moment. Can't speak for Generations Ultimate, but I would say that if you actually wanted to do something specific in Generations Ultimate, that would be a bit difficult. But if you just want to hunt anything, it's not too bad. But maybe it's not that good today. I don't know. There's a lot of range to that tail swing. Trying to get the hump where I can, but you can see that just a slight movement with a monster of this size is quite significant for trying to get on target with something like the hump. You can see the damage dealt is quite severe also. Maybe not severe, but definitely hits harder than your typical Rust Duramboros. Yeah, I want to be famous, Z Password. Tell me, how do I do it? I want to be so famous. I want to bring 3 Ultimate to the masses. I want every League of Legends, Fortnite, etc. player to love 3 Ultimate and get Wii U's because I'm so famous. I can't believe that didn't actually reach the hump there. Admittedly, I couldn't really see where it was going. I was just looking at the body and not at the actual target zone on the ground. Yeah, of course he's a bot. He is the lurker. Oh shit! I'm taking some pretty heavy hits here. I need to dive out of the way. Oh my god. I might as well take this time to get a hit off. Well, that's actually not so good because he just got flinched out of that. So now I need to heal real fast. Still got hit, but at least I had healed before getting hit. I would not be using Sword and Shield on a monster this large, but sure. Real hard to hit the weak points there, Drake. Although I'm not having such an easy time myself. Look at the width of that attack. I mean, just the width of the damage area. The horns have a very gratuitous hitbox. Ugh. Oh, come on! That is such an opportunity, and he just reached his damage threshold then. Real nice, real nice. I don't think close range coding is worthwhile, if you're wondering why I'm not using it. It's because I'm shooting so far away to hit those humps, or the hump. I don't know if it's those humps or the hump. Looks like 2 to me. But, yeah, I think that would be outside the range of what would really be affected by close range coding. Oh, come on. You still hit me. Look how far he can move, just with that maneuver. And this is the giant Rust Duramboros. This is not just like a Rust Duramboros that we happen to find. This is a event quest for a Rust Duramboros that is a set size. This will be your largest that you will find in the game, unsurprisingly. My DPS has been terrible. I'm not really happy with the weapon even, without even getting into the DPS side of things, but yeah, I don't know about this. I don't think my damage output's all that good. I probably should have used a Blade Master weapon or a Pierce gun. One of the two. Because this is not feeling quite so good. Unless I could have always chosen a different bow. I just don't think that Ice Pierce is good if I want good damage. And certainly a giant Rust Duramboros is going to be rather beefy. Big old damage sponge. No. Away from that tail. I'd say it's worth dropping it. Oh, I don't have a pitfall trap, that's right. Not in 3 Ultimate. I don't have any pitfall traps in 3 Ultimate. Don't know why, but... Well, I sort of know why, but... Yeah. If you really want to know the size of this monster, just look at the size of the tail casing. Look at that. It's a little bit large. A little bit. Okay. Quiet. Poisoned. Hey, there's a pitfall. Hopefully we can get Duramboros in here before he runs out of his exhaustion. We'll see if he decides to rush us. Is he going to do it? Oh, no. I think he's just run out of it. Let's have a look. Yeah, he just ran out of his exhaustion. Oh, God. What timing. What timing. Couldn't have been better, right? I think I'm just going to arc shot the... Oh, that's not... Oh, shit. I don't even want to explain how that happened. Don't even want to explain it. But I'm going to get rid of close range coatings. Not interested in them. I definitely think that it will be my fault if this hunt takes a really long time. Because again, I'm not happy with my damage output here. Pierce Ice was a stupid decision. Look, he actually crosses the whole area. That's how large this monster is. Check this out. Look at the distance that he just traveled. From one end of the area to the other. Stop doing that. I can't chase you that distance. You can stop now. He's okay. He's getting a bit too willing to demonstrate how far he can actually traverse. Oh, stop that. Well, it did make sense logically, although unfortunately this bow is not all that good. It's just not a good bow. Like, my only decent Pierce Ice option in this game is suboptimal, so... Although, N10... What is N10 using? Oh, is that... That's shooting water, I see. He's using the purple Ludroth bow, which is water pierce, which would have been a better choice, possibly. I don't know if water is actually better than ice for this monster, but maybe the better stats of the purple Ludroth bow would have been worth using over this thing. I think the ice value was at least good on this bow. Oh, shit. I do quite regret using this weapon. Now ideally you would have him limping by the time he got to his second area, but that's not happening today, as you can tell. No, I'm not really planning on making all the weapons in this game. The reason why is because I like to have all the viable weapons that I have on offer be weapons that I know are going to be good, and weapons that I know I would like to use. If I just start making all the weapons in the game, it's going to be harder to find what I want at any given time. That's why I generally don't do that in Monster Hunter. I don't make weapons that I would normally not want to actually use. Weapons that I forge for the sake of forging, because I have nothing else to do in the game. I just don't do that, so... Probably works for some people, but for me, I'm not really a fan. Oh my god, did you see what happened there? He wasn't even close to facing in my direction, but the geography of this area pushed him into me. Alright. I think he's now moving to his weak point. Weak zone. Let's have a look. How far does he travel? Yeah, he travels all the way there. He goes straight to the weak point. Or, you know, his sleeping area, we'll say. That's kind of funny that he can travel that distance. Yeah, I suppose N10's going the faster way. It's better than crossing all that. No, I definitely don't have most of the weapons, no way. the weapons that I have are just, for the most part, all elements for each weapon type, plus a lot of the awaken element. Well, I guess status as well. Elements / status. And raw versions. In other words, I've probably got about 60% of all the weapons in the game. Seriously, there are a lot of weapons. It might look like I have a lot, but it's not all of them. Not even close to being all of them. So, yeah, all the weapons that I have made are indeed designed to be used at some point or another. They're not just made for fun, as I said. So, oh, that is a... Of course, the cutscene was not designed for a Duramboros of this size. So you end up getting the death scene of the Duramboros, but you're sort of not able to get a good perspective of him. He's just this big body that's moving. And you're like, okay, great shot. Love that. Sorry if you can hear some background noise. Yeah. Well, I would admit, I will concede that some weapons, even if they're not all that good, you might want to use just for fun, just to have something a little different. But for me, that's achieved through awakened weapons in this game. Like, if I'm sick of using the same fire longsword, for example, I'll use the awakened fire longsword. That's enough variation for me. That's enough variety. So, I'm not going to start making these weird weapons that I just normally wouldn't use. Because again, I make things that I want to use. I'd probably have a lot of the materials that I would need to make all weapons. So this is the Far East Sword. You can see that I've done a lot of quests outside of actually doing the... well, I suppose I've done a total of... actually, I don't remember how many Far East Swords were needed. I had... Vernon, I told you that I had a Great Kelby Deershot. Not just the weapon, but also the set. Okay, now that... Don't know if you can hear that hammering, but that's what I was talking about. It actually took an hour and 30 minutes, just about, for that hammering to take place. So hopefully that's actually the frequency, like maybe once every an hour and a half. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Because then, by all rights, you'd only hear it once more. But yes, I do have the Great Kelby Deershot. Used to have a set for it. I've set it a few times now. And I just chose to stop using it because it didn't do anything for me. I don't think I would have sold it. Let's actually have a look. I don't think I sold it. But maybe I should first check to make sure that I have a quest that might be fun to do. Fang, you're dead. You know, I actually need Stygian Zanoga. Double Stygian is actually an event quest, I think. I think there is a double Stygian, like HR8 quest. Did I say event quest? I meant to say HR8 quest. What I was trying to say was that it's not an advanced quest. Where is it? What the fuck is it? Stop it. It's not here, is it? Wouldn't be here. It might be here. No, it couldn't be. No, it's not. Where is the damn thing? I know it's here. I know there's a double Stygian quest. Is it an event? Is it actually an event? It wouldn't be, because... This is driving me nuts. What's that single one? Bottomless Beast. Oh! Oh, there is a quest for Savage Devil Joe. I thought he was Invade only. He's actually not. Bottomless Beast is actually Savage Devil Joe. Interesting. I didn't remember. Savage Joe. Tell me if I'm wrong, but a single Devil Joe, HR8, and Bottomless Beast, yeah, that's Savage Joe for sure. He was not given his own icon in this game. So, Yeah, I actually had completely forgotten that. I really did think he was invade only, but he's not. You can actually do, specifically, Savage Deviljho as a quest, which is great. Let's use this. Now, I wonder if high-grade earplugs is necessary. It might be possible to do Rocksteady. In fact, I think I will do that. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. You're always welcome to do that, because I am wrong on occasion. But I think Rocksteady might be enough. Now, Great Kelby Deershot, let's have a bit of a gander. It is, I believe, HR9. No. Hello? Did I sell it? No, I didn't. It is here. It is actually still... Well, I guess I had wide range on whatever that set was. I don't remember the set, to be honest with you. I can imagine what it would have been. It would have been status up. No, it wouldn't have been status up, because that doesn't scale with Blast. But the point is that I had forgotten that I used wide range with that set. But yes, I do have the weapon. Just haven't used it in a long time. Long time. I'm quite sure that Bottomless Beast is Savage Deviljho. Oh, it's just a normal 7-star. Then we would need Game Changer on either a Raytheon quest or a Kurapeko quest. Maybe we can't. Why would Bottomless Beast be a normal 7-star? What? I mean, I suppose I am right that it's... Oh, I see. So Bottomless Beast is Savage, okay. All good. So, there is actually a 7-star quest. That's what threw me off. I thought it was 8-star. So there is a normal 7-star quest for Double Stygian. But we'll do that after this. I'd like to do Savage. I haven't done Savage in a while in 3 Ultimate. It's been ages since I did Savage in 3 Ultimate. What's Drake doing? Did he get ready for Savage Deviljho and then decide, oh, actually, I'm going to use something different? That's a bit odd. Yeah, I agree, Beta. It's a nice idea to have monsters that only appear as invading monsters, but yeah, it would be annoying, wouldn't it? It's one of those things that would work well in concept, but not as a game design mechanic. At least I feel that's how it would be. Some might argue that it would be just fine, wouldn't be too annoying at all, but I think it would be too annoying, so I think it's good that they didn't do that. In fact, I would guarantee that the thought would have crossed the drawing board at some time as to whether or not to have a monster that was invade only, and I think they would have decided, well look, it's too annoying. If you actually want to make their armor and weapons, you'd have to try and get them to invade, and that would just be so frustrating, so yeah. You think Sandro mixed up Artillery Expert and Bombardier? Well, hold on, let me try to... Oh, don't tell me. Oh dear. Oh my god, how did... You poor bastard. So the point is that Artillery Expert, of course, does not in any way affect slime damage, but Bombardier does. So, yeah. I can see what's going on there. Anyway. Yeah. That is definitely the first time I've seen someone running Great Kelby Deershot with Artillery Expert. That's a new one. It's definitely a first time for me. And there's a reason why, it's because it doesn't affect it. Oh, that's a bit sad. Because, you know, he's put some time into making this set, and he's just basically wasted his time. And one thing I did like was the system in Portable Third. The danger system, what was it? It was... You know, where it went down, 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 and then like the... Anyway. You know what I mean. I forgot what it said, was it? Warning system, that's what it was. So it was the warning system, that was your invading monster. So what would happen was, you'd have a monster invade at the end of the quest, and you could choose to either leave the quest and not face that monster, or you could fight it. I like the warning system. I should tell him, no, that's funny. It's funny. Savage Deviljho. This is his first appearance in the series, ladies and gentlemen. He first appeared in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and this is the first time I fought him in a long time in 3 Ultimate. In terms of what you can expect, he is very nearly the same as 4 Ultimate Savage Deviljho. I'm sure there are slight differences here and there, but... like, for example, he might have one less attack here in this game, but... for the most part he's the same. In fact, even his enraged, or rather non-enraged form does have a darker head. You see that? He's got a darker head, which I didn't notice. I thought the only real difference there, or the only visual difference for Deviljho, was when he went enraged. But as you can see, he does actually have a different appearance when non-enraged. Come on, get in there. Savage Deviljho was one of the reasons why I finally gave up and decided to play 3 Ultimate. I was quite upset that, you know, the servers of Tri had been shut down, so I was sort of boycotting this game like many others were, actually. But it wasn't Capcom's fault. I guess you could say it was their fault for not migrating the servers, but at the end of the day it was not their initiative to shut them down. But I was boycotting this game, but Savage Deviljho was one of the reasons why I decided, God, I really do have to play this game. Because I'd love to fight this monster. Have to settle for a level 2 here. Anyone have any meat? I never bring it, because I'm so damn lazy, I guess. Dragon Breath hitbox problems in Tri? Not that I ever noticed. It's possible, but I seriously never noticed it. For example, I never was bothered by it when I was first learning how to hunt Deviljho, and I never fought Deviljho in other games and saw a difference in the way Dragon Breath hit me versus Tri. So while I wouldn't, based on that, say that there was no hitbox issue, what I can tell you is that it certainly wasn't noticeable at the time. I found his Dragon Breath to be very easy to deal with in Tri. So, and from memory, about the same as this game. It was a little different in Portable Third just because of how it was visually. Maybe the fact that it was so visually different might have made it harder to notice a hitbox difference, but yeah. Oh, Savage Deviljho was the first Monster Hunter monster Autonomic ever saw, which is pretty cool. He's a very cool monster, when he's enraged anyway. I think he's cool even, unenraged, but that billowing black cloud coming off his face is kind of cool. Level 1 here. Oh, I managed to knock him down, which is cool. I don't really care about breaking anything on him, so I'll just go for damage here. Otherwise, I suppose I'd go for the face, trying to get some fangs off him. Again, don't know if Vile Fang is savage or not, but anyway. Also, it was a good call to not run high-grade earplugs here. Because basically, if I were to run the high-grade earplug set, I would not have critical draw. That's the reason why I wouldn't want to do that, if you were wondering. It's not just that high-grade earplugs wouldn't be necessary, it is the fact that my high-grade earplug set has critical I+1 instead of critical draw. So, I mean, better to have some kind of critical skill than no critical skill, but if we were to compare critical draw versus critical I+, oh, that's a nasty combo. Now, I don't think he has that combo in the other games. I actually don't think he has that. So, where he goes into he goes from a foot stomp into a Dragon Breath. I don't think he does that. But anyway, I hope that's unique to this game, because that means there's something worthwhile in showcasing Savage Deviljho here, because it's unique. Definitely different to Generations Ultimate, but yeah, you don't have that terrible attack where he stands rigid up and then does vertical Dragon Breath attacks. I hate that. That is an awful attack. Never liked that. I believe he first got that in Generations. Do not recall seeing that in 4 Ultimate. Might actually sharpen here. With a greatsword and in a game where purple sharpness is still king, I will sharpen up. Got a beautiful shot of the evolving greatsword during level 3 charge. Couldn't I just block the roar with greatsword anyway? Well, the reason why that's not helpful, Beta, is because you can't really attack the monster when you're shielding the roar. The idea of wanting to resist a roar with a greatsword is that a roar is an excellent opportunity to get a charge off with a weapon type like greatsword that requires you to be stationary as you charge the weapon for good damage. So it's kind of like using hammer without roar resistance or greatsword without roar resistance. Those are weapons that deal good damage based on being able to make use of opportunities. And roaring is a huge opportunity. So, for weapons like that, such as greatsword and hammer, roar resistance is the way to go. So if I were able to block the roar, that really wouldn't make a difference to my experience in terms of dealing damage to the monster. And on top of that, blocking a roar with a greatsword, the only reason why it could possibly be good is that it would put you out of position for a possible follow-up attack from the monster after the roar takes place, because you would be pushed away from the monster. But it wouldn't actually serve to increase DPS in any way versus just being hit by a normal roar, because you will not be able to attack for a while. It's a very heavy animation when you block a roar with a greatsword. So, in other words, roar resistance is king, and I'm not so worried about being affected by a normal roar if I was just going to block with a greatsword anyway. Alright, catch you later then. Ah! 2 dives in a row. I might go for the face for this one. I'll have to settle for level 2 though. Actually level 1. Hey, that was a good knockdown. I actually don't know if it is possible to knock down a Devil Joe without hitting the legs. Like, I don't know if he can possibly be knocked down by hitting his head, but I'm going to guess that that was done by the other guy. Quick hunt though, because of course, as Savage Devil Joe always is, he's very, very weak to thunder. So, Vile Fang is Savage Devil Joe. No, that's fine, Beta. Not worried about it being an ignorant question. It's good to explain it for those who don't know or think about, because at the end of the day, I like to talk about the way Monster Hunter works. And to be prompted to talk about something is a good thing, because maybe I wouldn't have thought to discuss that on my own anyway. Because people probably notice that I'm always talking about the way Monster Hunter works, and that's because I like to talk, generally, and that's a good subject to cover when you just want to talk and you're playing Monster Hunter, so it's a good talking point, we'll put it that way. And people who don't use greatsword or hammer wouldn't really understand the great importance of an opportunity of like even 3 to 5 seconds where the monster is not going to be attacking you. And I find that with a lot of people, like they don't really see that. And you know, I do actually appreciate high grade earplugs with weapons such as longsword, because remember when I was talking before about how with longsword it can be really annoying when you can't get your charge up for it? A roar is a great opportunity to actually be able to complete a combo. Let's imagine you start a combo with your longsword and then the monster roars, and because of that roar you're unable to complete the combo, which is going to immediately affect the damage that you're dealing, not just in terms of DPS but also in terms of your weapon's charge level, etc, etc. So really there are huge knock-on effects when it comes to high grade earplugs helping you out with damage overall. I think some people look at high grade earplugs as being nothing more than avoiding an annoyance. It's actually not just that. Yeah, it is kind of annoying to be flinched by a roar, but more than anything else, it's great for DPS, and in the case of weapon types such as longsword, and especially greatsword and hammer, allows you to deal more damage through opportunity. So, yeah. So now I think we can do Stygian Zenogre, which is apparently in 7 star, if I can find it. There it is. 2 Stygian. Actually, what is the hunter rank of Sandro? Oh, no fucking way. No fucking... Excuse me? What is your hunter rank? 725. And using Artillery Expert for increased slime damage? You poor soul. What the fuck? That's actually sad. Don't even know what to say to that. I mean, if the person was, you know, hunter rank 85, sure, but... Yeah, guys, seriously, 110%. This guy is running Artillery Expert, thinking that it has the effect of Bombardier, which it doesn't. Who's gonna tell him? Autonomic is, like, actually aghast. Anyway, that just goes to show that some people can be misguided. Who's gonna tell him? Okay. I can be the one. Doesn't. And I'll throw an LOL in there. I don't know, something lighthearted. You know, could easily be interpreted as me being snarky. I don't know. By the way, Sandro, artillery doesn't affect slime damage. I mean, to start with, the guy's running Kelby Deershot as a hunter rank 700. I mean, it's not a good start. But to have a set like that, I don't know. I don't want to be that guy. You know, it's like telling a Crag gunner that going attack up large is not going to affect his Crag damage. But, and I've been there, you know, I made that mistake in the past, but that was a long time ago. And I was not hunter rank 700 at that time. I did it for bows. What? What? Oh, I see. He just... But why would you? Oh. Okay, so it's a general use armor set. But why would Artillery Expert be a good skill for a general use armor set? Artillery Expert is very specific. Not many things receive increased damage from Artillery Expert. Am I missing the point here? What? I'm just gonna leave it there. He knows. As long as he knows, shit. I mean, that's what's important. And again, hunter rank 700 in this game. In this game. Ballista main. Oh dear. I feel sorry for him, to be honest. Well, I don't feel sorry for him, but you know, hunter rank 700 in this game, unless you're aggressively grinding 4-point formation, is going to put you at a minimum of 1,500 hours in this game. Minimum. We're actually probably more dealing with 2,000, okay? 2,000 hours in this game alone, and you're going to run Artillery Expert as a general use ranged armor set? What? That's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Anyway, I'm not going to have a go at him, but that's a bit disturbing, to say the least. Alright, so I'm going to use another nether weapon. I was a bit distracted there by that situation, but I've gone and changed sets now. And I'm ready to post the quest that we're doing. You can be a really high hunter rank and still be learning things, I don't know. Well, that's an appropriate face, deleted, for this entire situation. Souls of Darkness, please. Souls of Darkness. I mean, it is true that you can play a lot of Monster Hunter and actually not pay attention. I mean, some people don't pay attention. Some people don't even think about it. But that's the thing, I mean. You would have to not be paying any attention to be at hunter rank 700. I mean, 750 or whatever he's at. And be doing that, so I don't know. It's bizarre behavior. With something like Crag, I'd sort of understand, like the example that I gave before, that attack up large doesn't affect Crag, and the reason why it doesn't affect Crag is because the attack up large would only affect the impact of Crag, which is not very damaging. The damage of Crag is actually the explosion of the shot, which is set damage that can only be affected, I believe, with Artillery Expert. Possibly Bombardier as well, although I can't say for sure. I actually don't know all of what Bombardier affects. It might just be slime and bombs, but yeah. Point being that attack up large would not be good with Crag, but you might not think of it in those terms. You might think that all of the damage that the ammo can possibly deal will relate to your end attack value. But in the case of Crag, that's not true. And I believe the same would be the case for Cluster. Or Cluster shot. But, yeah. In the case of using Artillery Expert for slime damage, no. And in the case of using it, this is the funny thing, I don't want to dwell on this point, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, but it would have been better if he thought that Artillery Expert affected his slime damage. Instead, he knew that it didn't affect it, and he instead decided that Artillery Expert was a good skill for a general use armor set. That's kind of like, I can't even think of an analogy for that, except to say that that's kind of shocking. But yeah, maybe we're the dumbasses. Yeah, you never know. Maybe we don't get it. But as I said, it would have been better if he just said that he genuinely thought it affected slime damage. Anyway, I mean, what would Artillery Expert help with? Blast Arc Shot? I don't even think that would even help. I don't think that would affect Blast Arc Shot. Don't know. Poor guy. Poor little sausage. Anyway. Unfortunately, cannot get a clean counter on that attack. Wonder when we're going to make use of this shock trap. I'm just going to shield this. I don't want any. Oh, that's pretty cool. Sandrew's running the Scarecrows, which is indeed the best Paralysis Dual Blade. They are the best Paralysis Dual Blades. I've always struggled with plural versus singular with dual blades, because while it is a single weapon type, they are two weapons in one, so do you pluralize, or do you... I don't know. I really don't know, but I usually go plural. I just didn't do it that time, and I was left a little confused as to how to refer to it. Anyway. Now, it's not really smart for a lance user to go for the head, especially not with a hunting horn, but N10's onto it. He's trying to not mess me up. He's a good boy. But, yeah, most hunting horns would just slam you into oblivion. I may as well go for the tail, seeing as though I'm close to it. Oh yeah, well of course, Blast Arc Shot is not a good time for teammates. Never has been, never will be. And certainly not worth it for damage. I can tell you that. Like, it's not worth hitting away 2 to 3 teammates to get whatever damage Blast Arc Shot would give you. Oh, he went into the trap. I thought he got paralyzed again. But yeah. Blast Arc Shot. Hey. Got my fucking Stygian Zenogre Skymeral. That's literally why I'm doing this quest. Hallelujah. I usually get these things from the rewards. Thanks, game. It's very nice of you to actually give me what I need when I need it. Usually you don't do that. Usually you force me to farm everything that I need, and then when I don't need a specific item, they come in the bucket loads, such that I'll have stacks of, well, not actual full stacks, but you know, I'll have a stack of 10 to 15 to 30 when I don't need it anymore, when I would have previously been agonizing over the farming process to get even one. Anyway, that's the way it usually is. Nope. But today, things are a little different. I probably have maybe 2 Stygian weapons to make, I'm not sure. Oh, that's right, I remember I said, last time I was playing 3 Ultimate, it just flashed into my mind, I said that the next time we hunt a monster that's weak to dragon, I will go Awaken Stygian Sword and Shield. Now, I will do that. It just so happens that we haven't fought anything weak to dragon yet, but when we do, oh no, we did fight Devil Joe, Savage Devil Joe. He is weaker to thunder, still weak to dragon, but anyway, point is that I will try to uphold that promise I made like a week ago. Okay. Nice stun. Very nice. Nicely done. This is Abyssal Laggy. Abyssal Lagiocrus, this lance. It is one of my favourite lance designs in the series. It is absolutely lovely. Just look at the thing. I mean, it is a king among lance designs in the series. An absolute king. And I love it. And I'm so happy that I have it, actually. It took me a long time to make it, because I don't really use lance all that much, so it wasn't a high priority for me when it came to crafting weapons using laggy dynamos. Laggy dynamos. But I eventually got it together, realised, hey, this weapon design's great, I'd love to have a weapon that looks this amazing, that also is very functional, because sometimes you can have weapons that look great but don't work so well. This weapon both looks great and is simultaneously the best Thunder Lance in the game. So, yeah, once I got that together, which I believe required a total of 2, whoops, didn't mean to ping there, which required a total of 2 dynamos. Yeah, I was a happy camper. It's Tron looking? I don't know. Just because it's a little neon, although someone was calling... No, it was Hot Topic Lizard. Hot Topic Lizard? Was that what it was? For Abyssal Laggy. It's a bit Tron, isn't it? It's very cool though. I mean, look at that. It's not just the shape of the blade of the lance. It's also the, I suppose what you would call the hilt of the lance. I mean, it's just a, it's an amazing design. Only exists in one game, I think. I never saw it in 4 Ultimate. It could be in 4 Ultimate, but I never saw it. It's just delightful. I'm gonna slap N10 with it. Just a little bit, Tron. Yeah, a little bit. I'll give you a little bit. Alrighty. So I've already got my... Oh, whoops, didn't mean to take that. I've already got my Sky Emerald, so I don't need to worry about not receiving one in the rewards. I don't need to be greedy now. I mean, that's already more than what I should ask for, a single Sky Emerald. So, yeah, let's make sure that we sell that thing. As far as what weapon I'm making with that Sky Emerald, I don't know yet, but... I've got 2! Well, look at me. I must have gotten one before, and... You know why I didn't know that? It's because, obviously, I have not been using those because I play the game here and then I don't take time outside of recording to actually make weapons that I can possibly make. And then I just end up continuously trying to get these items, but anyway, what could we do next? I don't know. You know what I'll say? BRB 2 minutes, someone else can choose. BRB 2 minutes is so that I may go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a moment. I'm back. I've been live for 2 hours. Feels like 2.5. I don't know why, but it does. Oh, fuck. Seriously, I give you one chance. I give you one chance to post your own quest, and it's fucking 4-point formation. You dork. I mean, you know what? That's it. Remember when I said that the only way you'd get to Hunter rank 700 in a timescale less than 1,500 hours if you are aggressively grinding 4-point formation? Ha ha ha. Clearly, he's Hunter rank 700 not on account of him having played for a long time, but rather on account of the fact that he has aggressively grinded 4-point formation. Who would have thought? Never would have guessed with a set like that. Dick. Well, let's not be too aggressive, but seriously, I mean, come on. What shall I use? Normal heavy bowgun? Fucking hell. It's been so long since I've done this quest. It's been a long time. So I don't even know the best way to do it. But yeah, it's a little bit bizarre that I give you a chance to post a quest and you post something this uninteresting. 4-point bloody formation. Anyway, for those who are unaware, this is one of the easiest quests for the most amount of HRP in the game, and it is often grinded to get up HRP, which is a shame because it should be a major achievement to get to a high Hunter rank in this game. But it stops being that when you grind this quest, and it makes me sad. So, there you go. Do I have needleberries at all? I don't think I do. I do! That's good. Alright, so I can combine for... Well, I don't really need large huskberries, I'll put those away. Alrighty. And then I think I have all the normal shots I need. Yes, I do. Let's go. As far as what the protocol here is, I don't know. Are we smoke bombing? I'm not sure. Alrighty. I'm going to let someone else enter, maybe someone with a smoke bomb. Was that Sandrew who just launched themselves in there? Does Sandrew know what he's doing? You'd think he would. Yes, he does. Yeah, look, straight onto the trap. You can see he knows how to do 4-point formation, so that's why I brought a normal gun, you see. Because that's considered another aspect to the meta strategy. Sandra is already dropping another one. But yeah, when you have a monster that's locked down, a normal gun is incredibly, like a well done normal gun destroys him. Destroys him. So, there you go. As you can see, I mean, you're starting to get why... Oh, it's Mega Potions. You're starting to get why this is a quest people grind for HRP, I would assume. Now, keeping in mind that we are not an optimized team here. We're not an optimized team. We could technically be doing a lot more damage than we are right now. For example, N10 could be going heavy normal bowgun, Drake could be going dual blades. Like slime dual blades instead of slime sword and shield, which would be better for slime application, plus damage dealt. So, you know, even though we are not ultimately optimized, we are still going to be clearing this quest very fast. So, yeah, this is why it is the quest people like to do. Sandrew wants to get it in the trap, because he really wants to do the lockdown technique. And it's dead. There might be beta. You would have to choose which game. Although maybe it is the same across all games. No, yeah, guild points versus HRP. I do wonder if there was a comparison that could be made to calculate your true hunter rank. I'm not sure. But, yeah. Because of course it was never a case where you would hunter rank up based on your guild points. It was always based on what quest you would, or what quest level you had reached, so it would be hard to calculate that, but what you would probably do is average it out, work out roughly what guild points you would get for what kind of quest in the older games, and then compare that to HRP. And then at that point, Drake is a bit dumb, isn't he? He's a little dumb. He attacks the monster that is not landing near the bombs. Unless he intentionally sabotaged our efforts. I mean, that's possible. But I think he might be a little dumb. Because if you've got two monsters flying down, smoke bomb goes down, one of those monsters is near bombs and the other one isn't. You'd think you'd attack the one that's near the bombs, wouldn't you? But that's not what Drake did. Drake was like, oh, I'm gonna attack the other one. I mean, he's not the brightest, but again, he could have intentionally sabotaged. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, that would be the excuse he'd make, wouldn't it? But of course, we're not going to be getting it in that shock trap anytime soon. I bet Sandra is really pissed. I bet he's absolutely fuming. I don't really care, but to be honest, I'd like to be done with this quest as soon as possible so that I don't have to look at it anymore. I'd be quite happy with that. But now we're stuck fighting two of them, which is going to make the quest more unpleasant. I'm sure for some it would be a lovely challenge. Oh, it's so fun to fight two monsters at the same time in the arena. No, I don't find that fun. Oh, see, I can't get in there with my gun because this fucking Naga Cougar is like, he's right there. He refuses to let me go and attack this monster. Are you seeing it? And then his tail's in the way. I mean, the whole thing. And then the tornado. I mean, really. And even in that chaos, the Sand Barioth dies so quickly. It's because it's 4 monsters in one place, so, or in one quest. So it's over and done with very quickly. They don't have much health. Well, at least I can show you what 4-point formation is. And then this Naga Cougar will not be... This Naga Cougar is not long for this world. He's going to die shortly. And that's the nature of this quest. And that's what people do to get to high hunter ranks in this game. It's real fun, isn't it? Real fun. I didn't mean to ping. Why do I keep doing this? Anyway. Well, I know not to... I didn't actually want to keep carving though. I had not used a single potion in that quest. At least I don't think so. But yeah, he will not be choosing another quest. Put it that way. Because he seems very focused on getting a high hunter rank, but not so focused on learning how to play the game. Now here's a thing that is important to note. The higher your hunter rank, the more people will expect of you. If you have any self-respect, you will ensure that your skill level will at least, or maybe not skill level, but at least knowledge of the game matches your hunter rank. But if you're someone like Sandrew, who's very focused on just getting this high number, he's going to be basically a beginner with a high hunter rank, at which point you have to ask, how are you satisfied with that? How are you satisfied with people expecting that you have a certain level of knowledge, but actually their expectation is here and the reality is here. Like, how are you going to be satisfied with that? Have some self-respect. Seriously. Anyway, that's the way I look at it. If you have done all you can to absorb more knowledge and still have failed to do so, that's one thing, but this guy's just grinding HRP, so it's not the same as actually having played for that long and still not having that knowledge. It's not the same. He's made no attempt to absorb the knowledge that one would expect of a hunter rank 750 in 3 Ultimate. So the guy is a dork. That's what I have to say to that. Alright. So I'm going to get some normal shots and then we're going to select a quest that might be fun to do, as opposed to 4-point formation, which is not quite so fun. I forgot to see how much HRP that was even, but I don't really care. You can go back and check if you're interested. Would that be fun? Yeah, let's do that. The Azaros will be pretty quick, but... This would be an example of an advanced quest that is not often done. He's a whale penis, well there's that. Well, the thing is, he probably plays the game like, for example, he's in this room right now, so he's playing the game properly as he's here, but I think he's a bit too focused on HRP. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you could always say that it doesn't matter, it's, none of what I've said is actually relevant. It's, you know, people learn and play at their own pace, and whether their hunter rank reflects that or not is irrelevant. I mean, sure, but I don't see it that way, so... Yeah. What would I like to use for this quest? I guess something fire. No, maybe not fire. I could use heavy... How about we do elemental heavy bowgun? That might be fun. This feels very portable third for me. Because Portable Third was the first game where I did Crouch Fire Elemental Heavy Bowgun. And the reason why was because Portable Third was the first game to have Crouch Fire Heavy Bowgun. So, yeah, I had an old set in that game, which I remade in my second character, that uses Elemental and Crouch Fire and all that business. It was, of course, using the same gun. And it was good fun. And I can have a taste of some of that fun here in this game. Noble Nuisance. So, I will use probably normal shots for Azaros, because he's just going to die immediately. And then I'll use Thunder for Raytheon and Fire for Duramboros. That is the plan. And I'll bring combination materials for both, which I should have enough husk berries for. I'll need flash bugs and fire herbs. Come on, flash bug. Where art thou? Open your eyes, Doomlink, please. What the fuck is that sound? It's my phone making another dumb noise. Shut up. Alright, so... I think we're under control. For ammunition. Now I just need to eat, I think, and then we will be good to go. I don't really want temper. Alright, riser low and defender low. Sure. Lighting, again, is not amazing, but it's not causing chroma key issues, and that's what's important. That is what is important. Okay, so here's the set for those who haven't seen it. Attack up medium is not really going to affect elemental shots. You do technically deal physical damage with elemental shots. It is not actually pure elemental damage, but the amount of physical damage you deal is negligible. So attack up medium is only going to help with shots that are not elemental shots. Outside of that, we do have Bombardier, which is, again, not necessarily going to help with elemental shots, but I do have element attack up. At least I've got that, and I do have quick sheath for heavy bowgun. This is not the best set in the world for what I'm doing, but you have to understand that there is no elemental crit in this game. So elemental gunner sets are not really as, or elemental sets in general are not as great in this era of Monster as they are in 4th gen, and I guess 5th gen as well. Oh. Apparently Dork is documented as a penis, not as a whale penis. I thought it meant whale penis, my bad, says Autonomic. Well, I guess that's why I was so confused by your mentioning of whale penis. This Sandrew guy is walking a fine fucking line. He's walking a fine fucking line. He's kept us waiting quite a bit, and he's ignorant. So, kept us waiting, he's ignorant, and he does 4-point formation. So, I don't know. He's walking a fine line. He's only here because there may very well be no replacement for him. Another call phone, I guess. Oh, he got off the call phone. If there's one thing that phones do, it's call. It's kind of like it's like calling this a type keyboard. This is a type keyboard. This is a record microphone. You could call this a drinking glass, that's normal. Like, calling something a drinking glass makes sense for the reason that you could be referring to something else as a glass. Like a glass something. But usually, it has reached the point now. That's interesting, isn't it? That's the evolution of the English language. There would have been a time when saying a glass did not mean a drinking glass. But it started off as a drinking glass, and then as time passed, you didn't need to say drinking glass anymore. You could just say glass and people understood what you meant. Either through context or through the fact, nowadays, that if you refer to an object as a glass, it is in fact for drinking purposes. So, anyway, that's an interesting conversation, isn't it? Phones do be calling. Call phone. Give you call phone. Ugh. I mean, one term that has gone out of fashion these days is telephone. People just say phone now, because it's like, phone. You don't use phone for anything else anymore. It's just telephone, so mobile phone, telephone, phone. Easy. One word for both. But call phone, that's a new one. I haven't heard call phone before. It's definitely an interesting one. Because if you're going to say call phone, you say fucking telephone, don't you? I mean, really, you say telephone if you're going to say call phone. So, woe is me. If you're going to go to the trouble of adding extra syllables, just say fucking telephone. Technically, call phone is one less syllable, but it doesn't take any more time to say. Well, that was a good hunt with Arzuros, everyone. I enjoyed that. That was actually really quite enriching. The telly. My favourite is the horn. Get on the horn. But that's so old now that not only do people not say it, but it has absolutely no relation to what you would use as a telephone today. The horn, of course, referring to the old telephones that you would have wall-mounted, that you'd call into, so you'd have the earpiece and then you'd call into the horn, basically. So you wouldn't get someone on the horn anymore, because there's no horn, you see. The horn design, of course, being for... It's sort of like how the ear is designed to catch sound. You know, similar to a horn shape. Anyway. It catches sound, acoustically. If you know what I mean. Watching the stream on your horn. Exactly. A bit of a different horn to the one that might have spawned the phrase, but it is a horn nonetheless. I should have just shielded that. Good hunt though. Oh, look at me loading this like a good citizen. Don't know what relevance that has to what I just said or did, but anyway. What I meant to do was crouch fire. Oh, come on. I'm not crouch firing, right. Oh god. I have to turn right around. Probably going to get flinched here, am I? I'm going to shield this. Oh no. I'm in a bit of a funny spot. Well, this is why we crouch fire, isn't it? Now, because you're not really dealing physical damage with these shots, you don't really have to worry about being too close, because elemental damage does not have a modifier that relates to critical distance with shooting, okay? The only damage that will be affected by critical distance is physical damage. And as I said, elemental shots only deal a tiny bit of physical damage, so it doesn't really matter. I'm surprised that they even deal a tiny bit of physical, but they do. But the most of the damage being dealt is elemental, therefore you don't have to worry about dealing a tiny amount of damage if you're basically at point blank range with the monster. Because if you're applying the element, that's what's important. But if you're shooting normal shots, you don't want to be at point blank range. Even if it's close range with normal shots, point blank range is a no-go. You don't want that. I guess we're moving to flaming shots. Can't believe I brought combinations for this. Oh, there's a golden Gargua egg. I'll take that. Give it to me. Yeah. Now, everyone should be able to see the golden egg. Like, N10 can... You can see this, can't you, N10? I've got the golden egg. It's sparkling. I'm not going to take it to the box. Is there a... you never know. I know he's just spawned, but I'd like to check to see. Oh, no, I dropped it. Is there a subquest for it? No, there isn't. Is there any subquest? Are there no subquests in this game? I think there are. Are there not? I don't think there are subquests here. Isn't that interesting? Huh. Were there subquests in Portable Third? I know there were in Try, but I don't know. It's not a big deal. I guess they didn't have subquests in this game. I don't know why they removed them for this game, but it's starting to look like they did. Alright, can I hit the tail? Yeah, I can hit the tail. Check that out. Very nice. Now, I think your elemental weak point for Duramboros is on the horns, actually. Speaking of the horn. Not good for physical damage, but good for element. Can't believe I was missed by the tail swing. Yeah, it was pretty close. Pretty close. Oh, let's get those horns. Yeah, very good. I'm still far away, but... Oh, whoops. Out of ammunition there. Oh, that's a good time for a paralysis. If ever I've seen a good time, that would be it. Oops, bit off target there. But yeah, the horns are your elemental point. And then physical points are obviously hump and tail. But maybe the tail takes damage too. Starting to look like it does. Elemental damage, that is to say. Now, there is a separate hit zone between the head and the horns. They are not the same hit zone. Which is interesting, but they are separate somehow. Maybe hitting the head does break the horns? But I don't think it's possible to have the same... to have different hit zones, but to have one hit zone affect the break of another hit zone. I don't think that's possible, so... yeah. And that was an interesting hunt. not terribly eventful. It was over and done with quite quickly, but yeah, maybe a little bit of fun. A little bit. Oh, goodness me. I wonder if I should get a pizza today. I could. Could get a pizza. I don't have pizza all that often. It's not good to have often, obviously. Otherwise you'll find yourself growing a little large. Which I am incidentally not, but I wouldn't like to start being large. But, yeah, anyway. I don't think I will. Let's not. Although I could. We'll see how I feel. We'll see how I feel. Could always have something else. I always could have something else. Entering 426. Oh, goodness. I'm not going to do a super long recording today, I've come to realise, because this is, I mean, it's just one of those days where I don't feel like, I'll probably do 2 more hunts, that's what we'll do, 2 more, and that will conclude my recordings today, or recording. And then I will try to upload part 81 of live hunts, which is going to be like 4 days late. Oops, sorry about that. 4 days late. How late? What are you giving me? V ticket? That's not very interesting. I think almost anything in this star level, advanced or otherwise, is going to be dealt with very quickly with this group. So maybe I should go with HR7. Unless we do... Oh, we could... Really? Triple Crimson is actually an HR7 quest. I was basically 100% sure that Triple Crimson was HR6. That's really interesting. Let's do Triple Crimson. And then I think we'll do Hallowed Gem. Crimson Pecco is worth doing, because he exists in 2 games, that is Portable Third and 3 Ultimate. Not too many people have seen him. A whole lot less have fought him. And he's interesting. He's basically a lightning, or thunder, depending on how you would refer to it, Kurapeko, who actually has a roar that flinches you. But Rocksteady's enough to deal with that. I'll actually bring Greatsword. In fact, I will actually bring Awaken Greatsword and go Awaken Ice. Ice is the ideal element for both regular and Crimson Kurapeko. Gonna fight the urge to go pellet against Pecco. Well, just bring something that's not going to get flinched all that much. Because small monsters are not good to bring flinchable weapon types against. So for example, don't bring lance, don't bring hammer. Bad call. Bring switch axe or longsword or greatsword. Or demon dance with dual blades. Or you could turn up with gunlance and fuck everyone else up. You can always just be the guy who walks in and shits on the whole team. It's always an option. But it seems you've gone with Greatsword today. Which I'm happy to see. Hey look! That's another obscure ice Greatsword. The Northern Cross. In fact, I don't think I've seen anyone use that weapon in this game. I've seen people use the regular Baroth Greatsword, and I think I saw people use that in Try as well. I probably used it from time to time in Try. But the Jade Baroth one? I don't know about that. Pretty decent stats, but I wonder how the sharpness is, my guess would be not so good. Not so good. What I wonder is if Mind's Eye would ever be helpful with a greatsword. My question is, can you, with purple sharpness or even white sharpness, can you bounce on anything provided you level 3 charge? That's what I'd like to know. I don't think you can. Even with white sharpness, I think anything that you level 3 charge will not have you bounce. Maybe a Gemarand Fang could resist it, but I'm not sure about that. Maybe an Uragan Chin would resist it, maybe, but yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, Mind's Eye is not the kind of skill I would use with a greatsword set, generally. What are we hunting again? Shit, I don't even remember what it is. Come on, Volcano. 3 Crimson Kurapeko, there you go. I think they start in Area 6. And that's where they spawn anyway. As individual monsters. But yeah, Crimson Kurapeko. This is going to be a quick hunt. It would almost be more fun to hunt a single Crimson Kurapeko than 3 in one quest, sequentially. Because this guy's not going to last all that long. Yeah, I had a feeling Mind's Eye was going to be an extra skill on your set. I suppose it's useful, if it's an extra skill. Oh. Oh, you dick! You actual dick. You've gone and summoned Stygian Zynerga. That was very quick for you to summon that monster. Well, let's hope Stygian leaves sometime soon. Like now. Definitely makes the hunt a little harder. Oh, yeah, that's the sound of some good old-fashioned Australian fauna. Oh, I think he's leaving. Yeah, he's out of here. Thank God for that. What an asshole. Not necessarily Stygian, he's just, you know, he's been roped into this. The asshole here is Crimson Kurapeko. Love his colours though, look at them. You know, he kind of looks sunburnt, doesn't he? He looks like he's a Kurapeko who's been in the sun for too long. And when I say for too long, I mean for like way too long. This is a Crimson Kurapeko who's had a bit of a too lengthy a stay in the desert. And he's now come to the volcano because he's feeling quite confident in his heat resistance. I think that's everything broken. Both flint and the beak. That should be everything. Crimson Peko can also summon Devil Joe and Savage Devil Joe. In terms of what he can summon in this location, I'm sure it's locational. I think in the Misty Peaks he summons Savage Devil Joe. In this location I'm guessing he summons only Stygian. I was about to say he summons Black Tigrex and then I realised, hold on, that's in Portable Third. Yeah, there's no Tigrex in this game, but yeah. Sandrew, what are you doing? Are you hunting Stygian? You can. You can. Enjoy. Oh no, he came back pretty quickly. Was he curious as to what was paintballed? I don't know. How many traps do we have? 2. You've picked strange places to drop the traps. He spawns, well, there. I'd like to get my greatsword charge off, and then I'll stand by a trap, I think. Anyway. I don't want this to go to waste, so I will stand by this trap. There you go. Come on, Drake. Oh, Drake. I mean, that is the worst thing. Everyone goes and commits to a trap, and then the one guy who is still... Damn, Nahabra. The one guy who commits, or the one guy who doesn't commit to the trap, knocks down the monster, and then everyone's just sort of standing there awkwardly like, oh god. I really want to hit that monster, but I don't want to leave the trap. This is what happens. All it takes is one fucking person to not go to the trap, and it just ruins everything. It just takes one guy. One fucking guy. Oh, Pekka. Well, I don't care what hunter rank you are, I don't care if you find this to be the easiest quest in the world, at least it's a monster that we don't often hunt. Isn't that right? We don't often hunt Crimson Pekka. In fact, I would say Crimson Pekka would be one of my least hunted monsters in the game. I enjoy him, but I wish he was a little stronger. At least a little stronger. Yeah, well, enjoy your lurking, Potato. Enjoy. How's the Xbox One S? Can we all just, for a moment, appreciate the fact that Potato actually got an Xbox One S? The poor guy, I mean, the poor guy. Yes, Valfark is in Rise now, but it's a subspecies, apparently. Imagine having a subspecies of Valstrax, and then he looks exactly the fucking same. What is he? Extra rockety? He's got extra rocket power. But he looks the same. I mean, I don't know. It's a bit bizarre, but from what I can tell, he looks about the same. I know, Potato. Well, that's not true. Now you're actually stretching things, Potato. You must have been high when you first talked about it, because you said to me and to my chat that you found out about it probably, well, you didn't say when you found out about it, but you had checked the email of it being shipped to you, and therefore you knew about it before it arrived. Okay, so you're being a bit dramatic. You definitely knew about it before it arrived, because you saw the dispatch email. It had not yet arrived at that time, so you definitely knew about it prior to it arriving at your door, Mr. Dramatic. No, Doom, he glows a little bit more, yeah. Yeah, he sure does. I mean, what else? I mean, if he's the same fucking colour, you'd hope he'd glow at least a little bit more. That's the thing, like, people are going to be confused. People who didn't play Generations Ultimate that are playing Rise are going to look at the one in Generations Ultimate and be like, is this a subspecies, or is this just Valstrax? Because at a glance, and even at a pretty lengthy stare, he's the same monster, so I don't really get it. I mean, why have a subspecies? This is the question. This is what I ask. If you're going to have him look roughly the same, why bother making it a subspecies? I don't understand. Make him green or something. Shit, I don't care. Just don't have him look the same and then make it a subspecies, because it's dumb. You only make a subspecies that looks roughly the same if you've got the other monster there to compare it to. For example, Savage Devil Joe looks very similar to regular Devil Joe, but you can really appreciate the difference when you fight both back to back. But you bring a subspecies that looks almost the same as the regular monster into a game where the regular monster doesn't exist, and you go, oh, look, it's a subspecies. It's dumb, because he looks the same. Now, I'm not some kind of incredibly learned game designer, but come on. Just use some thought, Capcom. Make him pink. I would prefer that. I'd prefer a pink Valstrax to whatever they've got in Rise. Not that it affects me, it doesn't affect me at all, because I don't play that game. But, bloody hell. I'm going to get rid of that Slugbone, I'm going to discard it. Discard. Anyway. Get all of that business, and then I think we're going to do one more hunt. which shall be... not that. Maybe white noise? Do we want to do that? Yeah, let's do that. So it is baggy, glacial, and Stygian. Ugh, can't type. I did say I wanted to do Hallowed, didn't I? Okay, we'll do this quest and then Hallowed, which means 2 more quests. That's funny, Enten. I'd forgotten that I wanted to do Hallowed, but we will do it, but that means we'll do 2 quests from now, because I've actually decided that I want to do this quest, and then you reminded me of my desire to do Hallowed, so we will do 2 more quests. I want to do both equally at this time, and I have no real reason to stop, so... other than wanting to, and I don't want to if I want to do 2 quests. It is as simple as that. So, let's go Gunlance, and then in terms of... what to... I don't really have... oh no, I do. I was about to say, I don't really have a Gunlance that would work for this that's non-element, but I do. I have Shining Ishtar. We're going to bring that. Yeah, Hello Gen is fun. Autonomic. If you're one of those people who enjoyed Gen, like some people hunted Gen and were like, oh, this monster's boring. I always enjoyed Gen. If you're a person who enjoyed the Gen hunt, you will enjoy Hallowed, absolutely. So, yeah. It's different enough. He's got a different colour. I love the fact that you can bring fire weapons to fight him. You know, it's the Gen hunt, but you've got fire weapons being used to actually deal the most damage. It's really good, and I enjoy it. So you'll have to wait a little while to get to Hallowed. He is end game G rank only, HR 8 requirement, but I hope that I'm there for your first Hallowed Gen, put it that way. And I probably will be. I hope I am anyway. My hope is that most of your G rank progress will be with me on stream. In fact, we're probably going to do it that way. When you get to G-Rank Autonomic, I'm going to be playing a whole lot more of this game. Which is to say that rather than playing Generations Ultimate, as well as this game, it'll be mostly 3 Ultimate. So, I think that's the plan going forward. Valstrax is the single worst monster name in the series, in my opinion. You're quite wrong, because you've clearly forgotten about Nibblesnarf, as a translation for Hapuraboka. So, yeah, aside from that, I mean, if Nibblesnarf didn't exist, yeah, I'd agree. I would agree. I mean, Doboruberuku becomes Duramboros, although, not all monster names sound the same in English as they do in Japanese. Some of them are quite shockingly different. But Nibblesnarf is just silly. Nibblesnarf? I couldn't believe it when I saw that. Nibblesnarf. I mean, Hapuraboka wasn't really comfortable to say when I wasn't comfortable with Japanese as a language, but God, it was better than Nibblesnarf. Shit. It's 1B and it's EL, not LE, potato? It's not like nibble as in you're nibbling on something, it's NIBEL, snarf. Unbelievable. You don't even know how it's spelt. Look, Valstrax, I'm neutral to the name Valstrax. I prefer Valfalk, yes. But I'm neutral to the name in the sense that I don't feel offended by how bad it is. I thought it was a little dumb when it was first announced, but I'll tell you what overshadowed Valstrax as a translation for Valfalk. The fact that the game was called Generations Ultimate, that absolutely overshadowed it for me. Because I absolutely hand on heart will tell you, and all of you will appreciate this, who wanted Double Cross to come to the West, we never expected it to be called Generations Ultimate, because if you think about it, the G-Rank version of every single game has been, after Unite, Ultimate to refer to the G-Rank expansion in the English language. But Generations, in other words, you know, you had double cross, or you had cross and then double cross, Monster Cross, Monster double cross, and then you had Monster Generations. Logic would tell you, oh, they're not going to call it Generations Ultimate. That would be silly. They're going to come up with, you know, some interesting way to refer to the G-Rank game. Nah, it was Generations Ultimate, and when it was announced as that, oh, it was funny. It was really funny. But you know what? My happiness that Double Cross had come to the West completely overshadowed that, even. The fact that it had such a stupid name, Generations Ultimate. Unbelievable. You know, you either do it Ultimate Generations or you just come up with something else. Just Generations Ultimate. It was the ultimate lazy option for giving it a name in English. It was really quite sad, but anyway. I don't call him Valfalk because I didn't play Double Cross. Had I played Double Cross, I would have gotten very much used to the Japanese names. There was a time when I called Valfalk and Atlalkar and all that business, and I prefer Atlalkar to Atlalkar. Everyone called him Atlalkar. Not Atlalkar, because Atlalkar was awkward. You'd just say Atlalkar. That's what he was called. And I do prefer that. Atlalkar sounds more Egyptian than Atlalkar. Atlalkar. But, yeah, I don't know. This is the thing. The Generations was a great translation of Cross, because Cross, in the Japanese sense, means to us what Generations means. It's basically bringing all the Monster Hunter games together. For them, Cross, it's sort of like crossover, as we would know it, but not in the sense that you bring other series into it. It's in the sense that you are combining. It's like a combination. In Japanese, calling it Cross means to combine, in that sense. So that's why it worked. And so for the English audience, calling it Generations was perfect. But Generations Ultimate, it should have either been Ultimate Generations or, I don't know. I've got no idea. I'm not a game designer, but I can tell you that Generations Ultimate was just not... I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was too dumb for them to go with it, so I didn't even consider it as a possibility. I thought about it briefly. I said, well, no, it couldn't be Generations Ultimate, so they wouldn't do that. I wonder what it's going to be called. That was literally the thought process. It couldn't be that, so I wonder what it's going to be. But then it was that. So, not that I'm terribly focused on that point, but... You know, I'm not offended that it was called Generations Ultimate, but... It's not a great name. It's very cheesy sounding. Really does sound like an ultra anime game. Oh, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. It's just got that sound to it. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit too judgmental. Monster Hunter 15th Anniversary Ultimate. Yeah, I suppose. Monster Hunter The Last Game Dink likes Ultimate. And I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams that Generations Ultimate, or rather Double Cross, I never would have imagined that Double Cross would be the last Monster Hunter game that I'd enjoy. I mean, it's so sad, isn't it? I never would have imagined it at the time. But I was double-crossed by Capcom. I was. And I guess that's really the true meaning behind Double Cross. It basically foreshadowed the double crossing of the Monster Hunter community by Capcom. So, I don't know what to say other than I'm glad that it was such a fitting final game for me to like, because it really did incorporate all the generations of Monster Hunter together. I mean, it was clear, wasn't it, that there was going to be significant progress into another direction after that point, because it was supposed to be a closing of Monster Hunter as we knew it. It really was proof that they were walking away from what Monster Hunter was, because they brought it all together in that game, and then they were like, well, we've brought it all together now. We have wrapped it up in the most respectful way possible to the series, at least as far as we're able to do as Capcom, because, I mean, we can't balance anything worth a fuck, but we did our best. You know. Brave style / valor, I mean, yeah, total joke, but we're Capcom, so that's the best we can do. But, yeah, we're gonna completely move in a different direction now. Enjoy, guys, or don't. Look at that fucking sword and shield. Is that not the most ugly sword and shield you've ever seen? Look at it. Look at it. It is indeed the Roggy sword and shield. It's enough to make me sick. Anyway. Yeah. Look at that shield. Look at it. How could you have such an ugly sword and shield? I mean, how else would you design the Roggy sword and shield? I agree. How else would you do it? But, God, it's ugly. Oh, hello. Someone's fucking photobombing over here. But yeah, ugly fucking weapon. That's not to say that N10 has bad taste in weaponry. He's using it for fun, but I'm definitely saying that it's an ugly weapon. Clearly. That shield looks like a vagina. I don't know what kind of vaginas you've seen in your time, but it's a bit too puffy. Unless, you know, something's gone wrong down there, maybe stung by a bee on the vulva. Alright, let's not go there. But the point is that no, I would not agree that looks like a vagina. Anyway. Oh no, don't hit me with the dragon! Ah! Well, I do have nullberries. At least. At least. Looks like the hunter cut off the Roggy head and face and used it as a shield. I suppose, well, you know, if you guys have ever seen what, like, a face looks like when just the face is cut off, I mean, that's a bit morbid, but it's true that there was a serial killer who, like, you know, made furniture out of human body parts. And I think one of them involved a face. But the point is that you could actually say that that is a Roggy face, quite sensibly. So, I forgot the name of the serial killer now. I wish I hadn't forgotten, but you can. There's a list of all the articles in his house that were made from human body parts. And it's one of the most horrendous things you could ever read. Because it's one thing to read it as what it is, and it's another to realise that police walked in there and found a household filled with furniture made with human body parts. And, you know, we're talking stuff made out of lips, toes, skin from the face, all sorts of shit like that. Like, just absolutely horrendous stuff. You even wonder how it could be used in that way. But I don't know how I got on this subject, but my point is that you'd be surprised what you can make out of a face. It's not like some weird thing where, oh, it just happens to look like a face. Yes, you could feasibly get the skin of a Roggy face and make a shield out of it, okay? I just want you to know that. Whoop. I'm going to shield this. Oh. Bit awkward. Bit awkward. But I have enough stamina to shield it all. Sorry if I hit you, Sandra. Fortunately, you got out of my range. before I started shooting. Going to reload there. I'm glad that I managed to shield that in time. That would have hurt. That's one of the more damaging attacks of Stygian. Oops, that's not bouncy. I need to shield this. Ah! I barely caught that. Barely. Stop it. See how just an attack like that, while Stygian is enraged, can actually dragon blight you. Well, that's right. That's right, Potato. What you're discussing is basically, like, what I always think about in Monster Hunter. Can you go away? Like, you're coming in for a hug, but I don't want to give you a hug, so fuck off. I meant to actually sharpen up here, because I am bouncing terribly with blue sharpness on this monster. Thank you for the life powder. I need to already nullberry up again. Fuck off, go away. Need a nullberry and sharper and all this business. Unbelievable. At least I'm still dealing damage. I've poisoned him. Palicos are a bit weird. I think the whole Palico system is quite strange, but I mean, it's nice that you got these cute cats, but why do they serve us in the way that they do? Have you ever thought about why they serve us? Maybe they've been bred to serve humans and have never even considered a life of freedom for themselves. Maybe they've been indoctrinated into believing that we are the provider when they can in fact provide for themselves, and they always could and always should have. Have you ever thought about that? What do they get out of helping humans in the way that they do in this world? They are being enslaved. And then I could follow up with a rather lengthy rant about cat rights, but I won't. We kill felines as well. Like, what happens? What happens when you have a feline companion and you find a feline with his little stick and his bombs and he's trying to kill you, and then you kill the feline? Like, how does your Palico feel about that? Like, what's going on? Was it an evil feline? I mean, to you, it's just something trying to attack you, so you get rid of it and kill it. Same with Mellings, you know. It's just this thing that you kill, but to your Palico, that's your brethren, you know, that's kind of confronting, you would imagine, for a Palico. What do they do? What's their thought process? How do they justify it? Do they think less of their master? I wonder these things. But, yeah. I've got some thing in my inbox in Twitch that I guess I should check. Probably a message from someone saying, "You offended me." And that's never happened, by the way. I've gotten that on YouTube, not as a personal message, but as comments, but not that they even say that. You can tell when a person's been offended by what they say, what they choose to say. They don't actually go, "You offended me," but they may as well say that sometimes. But, let's see what's in my Twitch inbox. Actually, I don't think it is a message, is it? It's probably some crap. It's probably not very interesting at all. What have we got? Notifications. My channel. Oh, it was an achievement. What's the achievement? Something about number of people having watched me or something like that. Okay, shut up. What is it? Yeah. What? An average of 10 viewers in the last 30 days? Well, that's not very fucking impressive, is it? That's almost pathetic. Well, sometimes you gotta celebrate the small victories. Anyway, average of 10 viewers in the last 30 days. Well, what was it before? That's what I want to bloody know. Obviously not 10, but anyway. So, hallowed gem. That is our next task. Hallowed gem. Now, what shall I use? Will it be the Anima Reaper once again, or will I actually use something different? Maybe I'll use something different. What would be fun to use? Dual blades? No. No, I won't use dual blades. I won't use hunting horn, although I could. Are we all going to use elemental weapons? I think we should. If we do, then I will go hunting horn, actually. The Apocalypso. We'll see what happens. But if we're all going element, then this is going to work very well, because this is, of course, an element attack up horn. Drake is, of course, using that. Sandra is using the incorrect element. What is this? I'm going to check to see what kind of damage Dragon does to Jen in the hallowed form. It might still be some damage, but if it's not, I'm going to let him know, okay? I'm going to let him know. Dragon's still alright, but it is equal to Thunder. There is no reason to not use a fire weapon. There just isn't a reason. I think Drake is changing. I am an advocate for violence against felines. Those little shits keep taking my potions. Forget the potions. I hate it when they take my farcasters and my paintballs and stuff. Yeah, I guess you don't kill the felines, they dig underground and then you take their shiny, but still, you are physically abusing them. The only reason why you don't kill them is because, I mean, how awful would it be? Could you imagine? You kill the poor little cat, and then you carve it. Can you imagine that? That's why you don't kill them. They would never do that. I mean, the Japanese can be a little heartless towards animals, but then they're not that bad. That's kind of on another level. Alright. I just wanted to make sure that Drake was using an elemental weapon. Where is the quest? Where is the quest? I need to find it. Oh. Herald of Prosperity? That's not it, is it? That couldn't be it. No. He has his own... Oh, it's HR8 quests. I'm being stupid. Excuse me. Festival on the Sea. There you go. There you go. Here I was looking in the event quests. Rather foolish of me, wouldn't you agree? Exchanger. Beautiful. I wish I could cook Koroks. Well. Yes, autonomic. That has been drawn into question a number of times. Not drawn into question, but has been observed a number of times. It's quite funny, actually. I actually find it funny. Ugh. Anyway. This would be probably one of less than 5 times in my life I've used a hunting horn on a Gemaran. Oh, potato, it's one more hunt to go. One more. You couldn't do that to me now, could you? One more hunt. I mean, you're not leaving 4 hunts left in the stream. You're leaving like 1 hunt in. 1 hunt left. Ugh. The things you do to me, potato. What's she doing, Sandra? You're going to equip the Are you actually going to use adrenaline? Why? Decent set though. It's very high damage, that set. And black leather chaps, yeah. Could you use a fire weapon or something? Do you have one? And hunter rank 750? Do you have one? Potato, you'll be alright. It's bloody 7 AM. You can stay up until 7:30. You'll be alright. You'll be alright. And it probably won't even take 30 minutes to get this quest done. Unless Sandrew takes half a fucking hour to join the quest. Then yes, perhaps it will take that long, but... This guy's such a dick. Come on. He's got a lot of resource points. How has he managed over 1 million? Can you get it from 4-point formation? Because I'm sitting on 8,000. I don't know. Maybe you can get it from that. I'll get the duct tape to keep my eyelids open. Oh, come on, Sandra. Just go. He was on the call phone again. What can I say? I mean, you know, sometimes the call phone can be a distraction from the hunt. And from playing the game. I understand. But the call phone, I don't think, can be the excuse as to why you've walked into this hunt with a dragon weapon instead of a fire weapon. You know, it's not like water is the best element and you've gone and not brought that, because a lot of people don't have things like water weapons. I mean, why have a water weapon? Some people just bring raw weapons to everything. But the point is that this guy should be using a fire weapon and he's not. Why isn't he? Oh, it's not that order? Oh, I remember the order now. Oh, stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I remember the order now. It's like this. Then we go yellow. Then we go orange. Whoa. That was rather good timing for me. Alright, and then I think I've also gone... no, I don't. I guess I could do hearing S and windproof, but that's not really helpful. Yeah, no, that's about all I need. And I'll do self-improvement, of course, but outside of that... I think that will do. Just wanted to boost everyone's elemental damage, really. Things like hearing rares are not going to help. Windproof is going to be super helpful, though. Oh god, I should give them that. Alright. Hunting horn on... Oh my god, it can't even hit the damn thing. Look at that. Oh, there we go. Hit that time, but... Some of my attacks here are actually hitting the ground instead of the damn weak point. Wow. Well, thank you for the additional gifted sub. Who even is Heem Rennie? I don't even know who that is. But you've made a better purchase this time versus... Drake! Seriously? At least with you, I was boosting good element. In the case of Sandrew, I'm boosting a secondary element anyway. It's not a big deal, but I'm not too impressed by it. I don't think we're going to break this in time. I think I'm just going to have to... Oh, can I roll off in time? I rolled off in time. Good D. Oh no, that wasn't him throwing us off. He's going to throw off N10 momentarily. Now he's doing it. But I, for some reason, thought he was doing the wiggle. A lurker, probably. Yeah, indeed. So Potato is now the #1 gifter. Prior to that point, it was Ethan. You have stolen Ethan's position as #1 gifter. If that's even what they call it. But, anyway. Hit that tusk over there. And I will top up the elemental attack boost. Not top it up, actually, just do it again because it ran out. Strange sounding horn, isn't it? But yes, hello, Welsh Canadian. I'm doing rather well. Well, I was doing rather well until that happened. What the fuck? At least I'm not unable to attack him when I've been presented with an opportunity. He has indeed jumped over to the other side anyway, so I'm not missing out on any opportunities. Just as well, otherwise I'd be rather unimpressed. Oh, are we gonna have a gong? No? Okay. Not a big deal, but... Oh, well, we had a gong, but didn't do anything because the boat was already hit. Are you kidding? I was literally just pushed off by his face. I was basically glitched off. Because that's actually not supposed to happen, what just happened right there, but I was glitched off because... I don't know, I phased inside of his face, and as a result, I was actually launched off the side. That's ridiculous. I'm not a happy camper, having seen that. Having experienced that. He's hit the boat a bit, hasn't he? He's had a taste for blood, or wood, in this case. It must hurt. Have you ever thought about that? Like, you go and... Oh, that's going to hit me off. Oh, no, it didn't. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought that it might actually hurt Jen to physically slam this boat? I mean, it's a rather solid object. Sandrew, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, the guy is actually like a hunter rank 50, but with 700 hunter ranks more than what he should have. I mean, it's actually shocking. The way he plays is just... wow. The guy's a dick. No respect for such people, really. No respect for him. Grinding hunter ranks instead of learning how to play the game. Might just do this frontal attack because at least that's consistently hitting the weak point. I'm gonna keep away from... Whoops, let me do that the other one. Trying to play the song. Need to top that up. What the f... Hello? Sorry. Don't push yourself... Oh, I actually pushed myself into the damage zone there. Can't believe I'm using a hunting horn stuck with 3 people, one of whom is an actual imbecile. I don't know. Autonomic? Possibly. Well, at least I didn't die, wouldn't you say? At least I didn't die. Turns out you can't recover red health while climbing onto the boat. Look at that. You do not recover any red health in that time. Interesting. See, you learn something new every day, don't you? You learn something new every day. Not until you have both feet firmly planted on the ground do you actually recover your health. So, that's a new one. I really should be drinking first aid meds. Seeing as though I've taken the time to get them. What is Sandrew doing? Being ignorant is what he's doing. I'm gonna shoot the cannon. He's a dick. Oh, look out. I'm glad N10 was ready to go. I was too busy looking at Sandrew climbing up the back of the ship. Nice work. I don't know if he's participating. He's trying. I think he's doing all that he can. He's probably hunted like 5 gen in his life and still doesn't know how to find it. And he's hunter rank 700. 700 in this game. Like, we're not talking about an insignificant hunter rank. It's pretty fucking significant to be at hunter rank 700 in this game. And he plays like an actual beginner. I don't know. It's kind of shocking. Okay. Now it's time for the cannon. See, Sandrew, we can't hit the monster, so we must use the siege weaponry. I'm not giving you elemental attack boost, Sandrew, so that you can shoot a fucking cannon at the gen. Okay? The same goes for ballista ammo. Elemental attack boost does not, to my understanding, affect ballista damage, my dear. Now look at him. Look at him go. Well, unfortunately, I need to get elemental damage going again. Well, it's possible, Potato, yeah. The only reason why I don't think that's the case, Potato, is because, I mean, that definitely could have been the case, and I would have assumed that to be what's going on. Basically, Potato said maybe he got a second-hand Wii U. He said Switch because he's probably high. Or, no, he's very tired, excuse me, he's very tired, so he said Switch instead of Wii U. But, the possibility of him getting a second-hand Wii U and there being a save already on it, yeah, possible. But as soon as I said that someone else could post a quest, he posted 4-point formation, which tells me that, and also the fact that he knows how to do the quest as efficiently as possible, tells me that rather than just using some other guy's save, he's actually put time into getting as much HRP as possible in a short space of time without actually learning how to play the game. So, that's what's going on here. It's sad, but that's what the evidence is telling me. Bob the Builder has graduated from hammering to angle grinding, but again, intermittent. Intermittent. I'm gonna have to jump off. Should have gone on the ship, honestly, but whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a pizza today. Without a fucking doubt. No one can stop me either. I'm gonna be the pizza man. The pizza man. That was like a partial reference to Pepsi Man. Partial. Oh, why did I do that? I know better than to do that. Pizza Man. Oh well, expecting Sandrew to do anything here would be unfair. He was actually inside the boat anyway, so pepperoni pizza is the best food on earth. That's right, Potato. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. If he's even spent 500 hours in the game, he might not have even. He might be sitting on just under 500. I wouldn't know, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he's sitting on under 500. Because that's some pretty ghastly ignorance that I've seen so far. Now, I have to comment on that. Are you joking? You really don't know how to play this game, do you, Mr. 4-point formation? He's binding him in a place where we can't hit him! This dick. And he's like, okay, playing for being mad. He can't even communicate in the English language. playing for being mad. Dick. Look at him go. Look at him go. Attempting, in vain, to communicate. Like, what does that mean? Playing for being mad, you have the reason. Like, you know what that is? That's back when Google Translate was first made, okay? That's the sort of English that you'd expect when Google Translate was first brought into being. But no, this is actually this guy's attempt at speaking English. Fuck me. What a dick. Play the game properly. Secondhand rage. Well, there should be some. He's a fucking idiot. He's not even attacking with his weapon. He probably doesn't even realize that the ballista doesn't do that much damage. It's good if you are not elementally appropriate, and I guess he isn't, technically. But I wouldn't go so far as to say he's elementally inappropriate. He does deal damage with dragon element, but, you know, I'm not here boosting his element so he can hit the monster with a fucking ballista shot. Nor am I doing this so that he can bind the monster out of the hitting area. We would have been lucky to hit his left arm, but I don't even think that we were able to at that point. Like, what the fuck? What's wrong with this guy? I hope you get sandblasted right in the fucking face, my friend. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. He doesn't even know what's happening. He doesn't know this attack. He doesn't know the attack. Watch this, everyone. Enjoy. Oh, it was out of the hit range. Damn it. Admittedly, I've never stood on the boat when he does that attack. But I was hoping that was going to be wide enough to hit Sandrew there. He's a kicking meme. I shouldn't have used Hunting Horn. I can't believe this guy. He's a living meme. That's what he is, isn't he? He's like those people that you think only exist in jokes, but actually he's right here in front of us right now, being supremely ignorant. I don't know. And again, maybe those of you who don't understand what it means to be Hunter Rank 703 Ultimate don't get why we're making a big deal out of it, but again, Hunter Rank 700 will take you at minimum 1,500 hours if you're not grinding 4-point formation. So yes, having like 50 hours worth of knowledge when you should in fact have 1,500 hours minimum worth of knowledge is a little bit unusual, okay? Now for reference, I'm at Hunter Rank 430 almost, I think. Yeah, almost 430, and I'm about 1,200 hours in, okay? So when I say that 700 would be a minimum of 1,500, that's a really, really conservative estimate. So I don't know what to say other than this guy is probably dumb. Probably. 50 hours worth of knowledge is being generous. Yeah, it does feel that way, honestly. I don't want him to just play this game and not be told that he's an idiot. I don't want him to just go on his merry way. I want him to realise that he's ignorant. I mean, he must get real flack from the actual Hunter Rank 999s. People who know what they're doing in Monster Hunter get flack from those people. I wouldn't even want to imagine this guy. But he's probably started playing in an era. At least he knows when to Dragonate, fucking hell. I mean, I would have personally brought the monster closer, but I don't think distance from the Dragonator actually affects damage dealt. So technically, at least he used it when it was in range. Shit. Master of hunting Gen on the boat. In fact, he's probably never hunted Gen except on the boat. That's what I would guess. That is what I would guess. Alright. What a dick. Anyway. Unbelievable. Yeah, where is his artillery expert now? So, here we go. He's probably going to say something like, so he destroy. So he what? Does he really think that we were worried about the ship being destroyed? Does he really think that that's why we took issue with him using a binder at that moment? Listen, if the ship gets destroyed with even 3 G-rank people, there's something severely wrong. That was never a concern. The concern was that you don't know what the fuck you're doing across the board, in every regard. You are deeply ignorant of how to play Monster Hunter. So, I don't know. If you want to... If you feel real good that we cleared that hunt without the ship being destroyed, then go for it. Go for it, brother. But... then he left. You fucking ballsack of a human being. Absolute fucking loser. The dregs of humanity. Well, I'm sure our ship was probably doing pretty terribly after all those slams and sand breaths and all that business. I don't think I've even experienced the ship being destroyed in 3 Ultimate. I experienced it in Try with some strange teams that weren't very good, but never in 3 Ultimate. That's a new one. N10's bowing to the audience. And is also lamenting how terrible that hunter was. But, I mean, at least he was entertaining. This hunt gave me an aneurysm. That's quite extreme. But I do thank you all for watching. I will see you all when I'm next recording Monster Hunter. I hope you enjoyed the ignorance of that person. It is quite legendary. It is of legendary levels, given the hunter rank. And I will see you all soon. I will be uploading Doomlink's Live Hunts 81 this afternoon. Should be up on YouTube within 2 hours from now. And it is indeed 4 days late. Blame YouTube for that. And I will see you maybe tomorrow. Not sure if I'll see you tomorrow, but I will see you next time I'm recording anyway, hopefully. Bye-bye for now.